another episode of the Knee Slappin' K-Pop podcast. I'm Sammy. With me today is Kayla.
Hello.
And oh boy,
it's
are
time.
we in for the big one.
We're in for the big one.
We're in for, it might not be the biggest one lengthwise because we are on a time crunch.
Yeah, so we did kind of purposely schedule this in a way where I have to leave about 3 hours from now. So we gotta get it in before that.
So we actively have to be done at an hour.
Yes.
So it could be somehow it still could be our longest episode.
Could be.
But
there's so much. We're here to talk about Boys Planet.
Boys
Planet time, everybody.
So I think we got to talk about some pre-show things. Let's just get into it because we
gotta get into it. We just gotta start.
So, here's the thing: were we planning on watching this show? We were 50-50 on it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Do we do this?" And then we just did
but then
to
we
check
realize
it out.
We're 15 seasons into watching this show now.
Yeah.
And it's can we stop? Not really.
No, we can't stop.
Not really.
We're too in. After Produce Month, and then after essentially all the produces are done, official produces, except Produce Japan, which, saying it now, no, we're not doing Produce Japan.
Nope.
No, just not.
No.
We're not even going to do a retrospective episode because the female season, we don't care as much.
Yeah.
But, we always, Girls Planet, it's questionable if Girls Planet fits into the Produce canon.
Whether or not Girls Planet 999 is Produce, and I'm still of the opinion that it is not, because the format is significantly different enough that it doesn't feel like a Produce season.
But Boys Planet, which dropped the 999, so it's just Boys Planet, is season 15 of Produce.
Yes. It could be called Produce Planet, if you would.
It could be called Produce Planet.
This is Produce Korean season 5.
We will be referring to this as a Produce season, and I referred to this show the entire time we were watching it as a Produce season.
Because this is it. This is Produce. We've got the entire format back.
Because here's the thing. Anything that Girls Planet did, that made it,
not Produce,
sort of a Produce spin-off,
is gone.
They took back.
We're gone. All of that's gone.
And essentially, this is Korean Produce season 5. But this time the gimmick is half the trainees are foreign. Because that's what Produce Season 5 would have been anyway.
Absolutely.
Because that's exactly how... Because they did that with 48 anyway.
Yeah, we were already headed in this direction. This is
that
where
is
we would have ended up logically.
Would have been anyway.
Yeah.
So that is what happened. We checked the show out just because we're are we going to get invested? And then we did. Yes. And then we fell in love. And we'll go through.
I've had an increasingly better time watching the show the longer the show goes on.
Oh, absolutely. The show got so much better as it went on.
It started off real rough. We were in a bad time when it first started.
All right. So, pre-show things. Hui is here.
What are you doing here, my guy?
He here? I don't want him here.
Why are you here? We have a lot of opinions on Hui, which we have already made known, and we'll make known over the course of this episode, I'm sure. Why are you here? What are you doing?
Here's the thing with Hui. Hui could have been a mentor on the show. Hui could have been a mentor on Peak Time. Hui could have been a judge on Fantasy Boys. Hui could have hosted any of those 3 shows. Hui could have come in as the surprise Bobby we're gonna get and the surprise PH1 we got in Peak Time. He could have been any of those things. He could have produced any of these songs.
Let's also make it known that Hui was on Produce Season 2 as a song producer.
He was.
Just to have
you see clips of that.
We're also gonna have multiple people sing Energetic, a song that Hui wrote in front of him and at him multiple times over the course of this series.
Hui's not having a good time.
No, he's not. He did not. I have a very much worse opinion of him after going on this show, to be honest.
Absolutely.
It was a bad decision. Also, I do think it was also partially the shitty aspects of Cube Entertainment.
Here's the other thing I want to mention. We did the math. Hui does this show 2 months after he leaves the military.
Yeah, Hui is discharged from the military
on process of this show.
He is discharged from the military on November 22nd. I don't know the exact filming date of Produce, but the Here I Am signal song Pick Me, that gets put out to the public on December 31st. So I feel like filming had to have happened mid-December at the latest. Mid-December.
Early December, realistically, late December at the latest. But oh my god, what is the casting process for the show? Did Cube just be like, we're gonna send Hui, don't worry about
We're
it?
gonna send Hui, we're not gonna ask his permission, he's gonna come out of the military, and then he will go on to Boys Planet.
Mm-hmm.
And why Hui, out of all of the other members of Pentagon, is my first question.
Literally any other member of Pentagon I would have been more
I would have been
with.
less mad about. Any other member of that group.
Also, to head off the criticism immediately, the problem is not his age. There are older people on this show.
Nope.
The problem is Hui as a person.
Hui does not have the, like, absolute flop of a career that he thinks he has, and the show is trying to tell us he does. Like, he is...
Oh my
Pentagon
god,
is very solidly, like, a B- tiered K-pop group.
It is not CLC.
No. Hui is
not that.
Easily the most popular and successful member of his group. He's a very successful songwriter. Probably makes bank and royalties every single year. Like,
he was a successful songwriter in this show.
In this series.
This show has gone to him for work.
This show has multiple Hui written songs. Like, it's like,
because
it
not
make
only did
any
he
sense.
do Energetic, he also did Never.
Yep.
Wild. Okay.
Wild shit.
We're gonna go on multiple Hui rants, but I'm gonna cut this one off.
We'll come back to this. We'll definitely be back later.
We could do 3 hours on Hui alone.
Absolutely.
Like, we have a script. The script is 9 pages long. We're on bullet point 1, and the bullet point is Hui, and I could go on for 4 hours.
We really could have given you 2.5-hour episodes every single week on this show. We could have. But we could have islanded this. We could have. That would have been really bad for both us and for all of you listening. So
and also, I don't know how our mental health would have done.
Mental health probably would have been in a worse place if we had done that.
Mental health, because of the show, is already in the toilet. So, we also have 3 members of Nine Eye there. Love them. We've been fans of Nine Eye.
We have been in on Nine Eye since the debut. Like, we have been fans on Nine Eye since the beginning. So now, very glad other people are in on Nine Eye.
I'm very happy they're finally getting some sort of attention. Love that for them. 2 members of Attention are back because Attention just has to keep sending people to shows. I don't know why.
They do significantly worse than their other members of Attention did on Produce X, but that's fine.
Then we have Woongi and Jerome.
2 former members of then TO1.
TO1. Kicked out for
very who knows what reasons actually, but
who knows what reasons actually, but they go on this show.
They're here.
We will talk about their journey. We came into this loving Woongi so much.
Love him. Adorable.
And then Woongi opened his mouth and we had other thoughts, but we'll get to that. And then also we have Kaita from Cyphers on this show. We had, going into this, low expectations.
Very low expectations.
Specifically, we've talked about so many of these groups. We have not talked about Cypher for good reasons.
No, Cypher we put their debut song on a worst of the year list.
Yeah. It was in
2021. Yes.
Yes.
Not great.
I did say, I did go back and listen to our coverage of that. We were complimentary to the members of Cypher. We thought that they were being guided in the wrong direction, and I stand behind that
all
point
of the problems with Cypher, I think I relate back to Rain, yeah.
All the problems with Cypher are back to Rain, and then also at the same time, God only knows the status of Cypher. Because of Rain's terrible management.
Yeah. But
Rain has never managed a group correctly.
He should not be allowed to manage boy groups anymore.
Look at the history of Rain. Look at what he did to, like, M Black. He's destroyed every group that he's ever been put in charge of, and it upsets me.
Rain should not be allowed to have boy groups anymore. Like, no. Absolutely not.
This is something we did not find out until afterwards.
Yes.
But Jay was in a Mr. Beast video.
Yep. Last person to leave the circle
wins $500,000.
He does not say a single word in that video, but he's definitely there.
This is when we knew we were too deep down the Boys Planet, like, rabbit hole, is when we were watching a Mr. Beast video. Neither of us watch Mr. Beast videos. Just hunting for background Jay.
Yep.
And you find him. He's there. He's wearing a red shirt.
100% there if you look for him, but you do have to really look for him in that video.
You do. It's like a Where's Waldo.
Yes.
For Jay.
He lasts about, like, 5 days in the circle.
He does, which I don't know. And also says no words. We don't know what his consolation prize is, because it seems like everyone got a consolation prize.
But we do not see him leave the circle. He, at some point, just disappears.
Yeah. All right. So, this show has no host, which I think is a bad decision.
Bad decision all around. To have just rotating host concept. Don't like it.
Somehow, Boys Fantasy is able to get Changmin. Not that I wanted Changmin in this show, but they were able to get a host. They got Lee Sang-gi for peak time, and no, they couldn't grab Yojin Gu.
Does Yojin Gu cost too much money to have him host again?
Was Yojin Gu's rate that much
because
higher?
They have Yojin Gu for a little bit.
They have Yojin Gu for, like, the first round.
Yeah.
They have
Minhyun
for, like,
a little
the first elimination. Or no, is it the second?
He hosts the first round, and then he hosts the finale. Yojin Gu does the first elimination episode.
Yes. And then we have Somi do the
last
third elimination. Who does the second elimination?
Minhyuk of Beats B, maybe.
Minhyuk, yes. And then
Key is
like,
also
rounds,
here.
We have Key there.
Yeah.
We have Kim
Jae-hwan's here for a hot second.
Doesn't host anything.
I think
we
that's
just have
everybody.
A bunch of Jokwon appeared for the
a really hot
of
second, yeah.
Like, truly the hottest of seconds, and then, like, it feels very random.
I feel like that was an oversight on the production crew, the hosting aspect.
Did Cube maybe promise Hui, and they were expecting, like, oh yeah, Hui can host, and then they were like, no, we want him as a contestant.
Yeah, that's just...
And that's what it was?
Maybe.
Look, if you're upset that I'm gonna keep making snide jokes at Hui, leave now.
That's gonna be the whole episode. Will be
whole episode
jokes about Hui.
Yeah. So yeah, we've talked about things. Yes.
So we have to get to the racism immediately.
We gotta talk about the racism. Here. So, Girls Planet, 3 circles, 3 things: Japan, Korea, and China. That's the word. Produce 48. AKB48, Korea. This show is Korea versus the world, and also what they count as. Let's start with the first thing. What they count as the world makes no sense to me, because that would reclassify other members of former groups that they counted as Korean as foreign.
Yeah, because that makes Bahi foreign. The world. Yeah, there's another girl who's Korean American who would also then be a global trainee.
Like, there's so many people who I think they would just, like, reroute.
And it's like, Girls Planet is like, it's like clearly a 3-country battle. That's fine. And Produce 48 was clearly, that was a collaboration with AKB48. And, like, there was a clear concept for both of those. When your format of the show is now, this is South Korea versus the rest of the world.
Else.
Including
people that are Korean American.
Like, yeah, your Korean Americans, Korean Canadians also part of the world.
Yes, everyone counts as the world if you're not a full-blooded Korean raised in Korea.
Also because they are, like, so obsessed with, like, putting people into little boxes of countries. It's very confusing to look at the background of some of these contestants, because we then find out much later in the show, Ricky is, like, almost Chinese American, because he lived a very long portion of his time in LA.
Ollie also has a very long history in the U.S. at some point.
Brian is essentially Chinese Canadian. Like,
yes,
and so it makes it very confusing, because they have to get classified as Chinese, like, specifically.
The only people that essentially get classified as American are people that are Korean American, or someone like Jay, who Jay is
very
has
mixed.
a very mixed background.
Yeah.
He cannot fit into a tiny box.
There are only 2 Americans on this show, and there is 1 Canadian, which is Matthew.
And then the Americans are Jay and Camden.
Yeah.
That's what we
got. That's what we got.
And then everybody else sort of fits into boxes.
In the little boxes that they would like them to fit.
Yeah, because even Anthony is not, like, they put him in the box of Japanese.
Yeah, and Anthony's is Filipino-Japanese.
Yeah, so everybody sort of, like, has to fit in one box when they are, like, multiple different things, but that just also then gets classified as the world. Just a note, we will be referring to everything as Bepler.
This show is Bepler. I still refuse to call this group 0 Base 1, having now seen the finale.
Also, if we're going, like, I'm going to need this to become a not TXT situation.
Yeah.
Because I still don't like that TXT refers to themselves as Tomorrow by Together. You can just say TXT, we get it.
Everyone calls you TXT, it's fine.
Everyone calls you TXT, you don't have to say the full name. Can they just call themselves ZB1?
Please. Because
I mean, by that point,
the amount of time
I
I heard the phrase of the full 3 words zero base one in the finale was more than enough that I ever want to hear it again. Like,
absolutely.
I don't want to hear it
as just
anymore.
a side note, I feel like we all need to apologize for everyone making fun of the stupid acronyms from the mid 2010s.
Yes.
Because this is what caused this.
We have now made the transition of like 3 character acronyms,
words.
and now we're just putting words together into one word. That's the evolution we're at, where we're like, let's just put 3 words together. And that's
the
it.
one specifically I always remember, that if B2B debuted today, we would have to call them Born to Beat. And I would have hated it more.
Yep.
B2B kind of, like, that's what, people made fun of those acronyms so much that now we're saying it.
But now we've come back full circle where we're saying the full acronyms out.
Alright, so now we start really what also intrigued us, which was...
This is really, I think, what got us to watch it.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
We're still in the pre-show era, which is, me asking the simple question of, Kayla, why do these show promos look like a BL teaser? Because why do they look like a BL teaser?
They do. There's not even any debate about it. They look like they're for a BL drama.
Because here's the thing, I watch BL dramas, as everyone already knows if you've listened at all to this podcast.
Yes.
But, like, things come up on my timeline, and I had to process that that's not just the new
This
Thai
is the
BL
new
series.
produce season.
This is the new produce season. Also, go back and look at the posters for every other produce, including Girls Planet.
Not a single one looks like this.
Also, not a single one of them has people in it.
No, absolutely
this has
not.
people in it, which is also
man.
weird. They're on a beach. It's very romantic.
They're on a beach holding hands. It's like, it's a lot. It
really
set the tone. So much. It set the tone because this is the gayest show to have ever aired on Korean television.
Absolutely.
The show is so gay.
Honestly, there was a season of Drag Race happening at the same time this show aired. I think this might have been gayer.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yep.
Like, it was a lot.
It's a weird, because it is, especially in the beginning with these promo pictures and how Mnet has been editing the show. Feels a little bit exploitative overall.
A bit.
A little bit. Because they are doing it, like, as an aesthetic reason. Like, there is no other reason they're editing the show this way than to be an aesthetic.
There's no other reason that they are putting, and we'll get to the situations that happen, there is no other reason for these situations to come up other than to get this content. And the one I'm specifically thinking of, we'll get to it, but specifically the Woongi Kaita thing, there's no other reason for that to happen other than, this is gonna work.
They want it
and
because
it
did work. Because they know it's getting views and people love that. But it's coming from, like, a weird, icky kind of place because they're doing it to exploit, like, a minority.
They're doing it for the wrong reason. It is progress, but for the wrong reasons.
Yes, it's like, it is good that it's progress in a way,
because,
but
like,
also there's not good intentions behind it at all.
There's a point in, like, older K-pop where this would have never aired and it would have been a joke and people would have made fun of it and there would have been a lot of bad comments. A lot of people are embracing this, but I do think that it is icky because of the reasons behind it.
Yes. Do we have a very fun time with the show? Absolutely. Yes. But we do have to realize that the intentions behind the way they edited the show are bad.
I think you can enjoy something, but accept that it is problematic.
Yeah.
In both this way and also the blatant xenophobia way.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get to more examples of the xenophobia.
Oh, yeah.
But going off of that, the first thing we see, because technically it's pre-show, is the pick-me, because we always see the pick-me first.
Yes.
This is a very good
really
pick. This
good
might be one of my favorite pick-me's.
Definitely is one of my favorites now. It's so good.
It's my favorite Korean pick-me by far.
Easily a favorite Korean, yeah.
And we are counting OOO in this.
Because I don't like that. Because that song's bad.
I don't like that song at all. That song does not help the Korean average. It's up there with, like, a lot of the Chinese pick-me's. Because the Chinese pick-me's just sound like regular songs.
The Japan pick-me's both pretty good, too.
Those are always the best pick-me's.
When we see the pick-me's, when we get our first glimpse of the two centers of Sung Han-bin and Jang Hao. And this
really
is their story. This entire show is the Han-bin Jang Hao love story.
Because also, before they actually, like, there's a full, like, minute prologue thing cinematic, if you will,
Yes.
that happens before they actually start singing the Pick Me.
Yes.
And we didn't watch it
No, because I never watch that shit, because, like, who cares?
I never do.
They don't
either.
mean anything.
And then eventually we did, because we were down the rabbit hole too far.
Yes.
But, we watched it, and I'm like, oh, so this is
their love story.
Setting up their love story.
Sets up their entire love story.
Also, I think that this might be the best way to do a double center, because the way they did the centers because there have been other produce seasons that have had more than one center.
Uh-huh.
But it always felt like there was one center and then they had to, like, the consolation prize.
Yes.
For example, like, in
Produce 48 in particular.
Produce 48.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt like a consolation prize. They wanted Sakura to be the center, but they could not justify it because she's not Korean. Also, all the weird, like, things that happened in Girls Planet, it just felt really random. The circle thing was weird. Also, that song feels 8 years long.
Yeah. That song is too long.
It feels so long. But this works really well because it's the two of them. And yes, do they at the end elevate Hanbin to be, like, the true center at the end? Sure. But for the majority of it,
but they're both there.
Centers.
They're both in the center. They have their cute little dance break at the bridge. Like,
they have a little dance break. It's amazing.
It's great.
Love it.
Love them. Love the two of them so much, honestly.
Yes. So we start with the auditions. Okay. So this is where we begin to have, like, Venn diagrams of people we know.
I did make a Venn diagram. It is not really a Venn diagram. It's more so of circles with people in the circles. But
because, like, there's not a Venn diagram that you can make out of
there's a little bit of overlap. If you want more overlap, peak time, a lot of overlap on the peak time Venn diagram. God.
The peak time Venn diagram. But yes, very specifically, this is also a reason we watched this show, was because we're like, I know who you are, where are you from? And it's like, I know who you are, and it's like, oh shit, we knew these kids, and like, they did pretty well on other seasons.
Yeah, so many of these kids were on other produces and other survival shows that we have seen in the past. Yes. Outside of the ones we know just from being in a K-pop group already.
Yes, outside of the people we know from the before times. We also have people that we know from our extensive, like, background in produce we have. First one, not that, though.
Yeah.
So the first one is something that we were pissed off about, actually.
Yes, quite a lot, because no one got it correct. Everyone was wrong. So we have Ichika. Ichika was on Chuang 2021. More famously, he is the older brother of June, who was on Produce Japan and is now in Orbit. One of our favorite groups.
Was on Produce.
Also on Produce X. Yep, 91st place on Produce X.
91st place on Produce X, famously. But here's the thing. Everywhere I've seen, he is the oldest person on this show.
Older than Hui.
Also people saying that Hui's the oldest person on the show, also incorrect. It was him.
Yes.
Also the fact that he is older than June. Everyone everywhere referred to him as June's younger brother. He is not.
No, because Ichika is 30 years old and June is like 26, 27.
26, 27.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yes.
I feel like one person got it wrong because they didn't do the math right.
Yes, and then every single other site copied the wrong information onto their videos.
Yes.
Yep.
So Jay was formerly on Under 19, and then Christian was on... Shit, there's so many seasons of this.
So I have the list. So Christian,
you have the list.
Chen, there's a bunch of people.
There's
one,
so many
2,
people.
3, 5 people. We're on Youth with You season 3. Jang Shuaibo, Chen Yugang, Chen Jianyu, and Zhan Hao and Christian all on Youth with You season 3. Wen Ye Chan also on Youth with You season 1.
Because why the hell not?
Because of course, Wu Mu Ti, one of our favorites.
Wu Ti, we love Wu Ti. He was on Under 19, and then, if you are an avid Idol producer fan, as we are, he was also on Super Idol, which is which made Swin, which is the group that Kun, center from, 9% and of that season, was in before that show.
Yes.
So he's had a long career.
Long history of survival shows from Wu Mu Ti.
Long history of survival shows. Also, Anthony was on Produce Japan Season 2, and if you watch that Pick Me, Go back and watch that Pick Me. He is right behind the center.
He is so
he
is so visible on that entire
So
season because he does very well on Produced Japan
He does
season 2.
extremely well. We were not paying enough attention to that season to remember him.
No.
Also, the person that has done the most of these is Hiruto. So Hiruto was on Produced. So he's an RBW trainee, which RBW
Japan, I think.
Japan,
technically.
yes. But RBW, do something with this kid.
Yep.
Please. So he was on Produced Japan season 1. Then he did
Chuang 2021.
And then he did Boys Planet. So he's run out of
He's hit every country produced now.
And has done really
decent. He does about as well as he does on Boys Planet in each of those other 2 seasons. Yeah.
It's just also he's in that weird Amber performance.
I know.
On 2021. It's an interesting time. Also the fact that it took me weeks to realize that kid's a rapper. Also we know Ji-woong because he was in a show that we didn't talk about, but I have seen him as a gay vampire in specifically Kissable Lips. I know he's done other roles, but that's the one I've specifically seen him in. And oh god, was that a show. I had very negative opinions coming into this show about him entirely because of that show, because I hated that show so much. But he turned it around. He's a wonderful person. I absolutely adore him. So we're talking about, we don't mention the judges because they are completely pointless, but there's 2 specifically. Lip J was having too much fun. To the point where I was uncomfortable.
She gets worse the longer the show goes on. Because she has a very weird obsession with Yujin that is very weird.
That is odd.
Very weird.
It is odd. Also, PH1 is here.
Yep.
And in the beginning, we're like, well, PH1 isn't doing anything, but none of this has to do with rap.
Right. But then
PH1 continues to do nothing.
PH1 just might as well not be on this show.
Absolutely.
Like, he's just not here.
Does not need it in any capacity, but you know what? He's having a good time. So we are going to mention some auditions, some standout auditions.
Yes.
We have ranked all the auditions on a separate video if you want to go there.
Yes.
So we call this one the jump scare hot.
Yes.
Because every time it starts, I am aware it's about to start. I know it's coming.
It's a jump scare.
But then the first note happens and I'm like,
The first note hits, it's a jump scare every time.
Every time. We have to talk about the My Houses.
The My House. The iconic My Houses that has been all over my Twitter, or not my Twitter, but my TikTok since
all the time.
Surely too much.
And also, this show refuses to let die.
No, we see it
did not.
Consistently throughout the rest of the show.
Absolutely. So Doha
and Mingyu, red and blue houses,
icons,
if you will.
Red and blue My Houses, if you will. Icons. I do think that this is the beginning, and we'll get to the very specific example of this show becoming, and the people who watch the show becoming way too self-aware. Because the other thing about this season, because we're 15 seasons in, people know the tropes. People know everything. They're like, we can't let
this happen again.
We can't let this happen again.
Yes.
We can't let people just, like, be funny and, like, kinda, like, and untalented and get to the end. We can't do it. And I'm like, I think you guys are overthinking. People really overthought everything.
Oh, yes. It becomes increasingly relevant the longer the show goes on.
So Jay and Camden, who they edit around.
We do,
because he's also there.
Camden does this rush hour performance, and he might as well not be there. Like it
might as well be a solo.
Might as well be a solo Jay performance because Camden does not get any screen time until we're over halfway through the show.
Yes, and you forget that it's Camden there with Jay.
Yeah,
because you haven't seen.
This is all about Jay at the beginning.
Also, I know we also talked about how this was the Haobin season. This was their love story.
Yes.
This was also the
Yehua season. Absolutely, all over this season.
Absolutely thrives, because Yehua is known for sending trainees to all of these shows, and they do so freaking well.
So well every time.
So well.
Yehua sends 8 trainees on the show, and 4 of them make the group.
Absolutely.
It's insane
they send 4 Korean, 4 Chinese. They both do Kick It. They both do the same song.
We have a whole arc about Yehua G versus Yehua K.
Which, does not matter like 2 rounds in because everyone's just happy and friends. The other thing I want to point out is that Yehua sends 8 trainees. Wake One, the company that the CJ company
that manages
the company
Kepler,
that makes this group and that makes the show, sent 9 trainees.
10 actually.
10 trainees. One of them made the group. 1. And it's for not the reasons I think they were open.
No,
for.
absolutely not.
We'll get to him. So we have a lot of thoughts about the Yehua trainees because they do become sort of in produce. There are like major and minor characters, and everyone's major and minor characters are different. Like there's specifically the people that are like major characters. Like it's Halbin always going to be a major character. Whether or not
a pretty major
Matthew
character.
Major character. Whether or not like, and then you have people that like are kind of major characters. Like for example, if you're paying attention, Jay is a major character for you, but so is Gunwook. And it sort of depends
and like, Kaita
on what...
isn't really, but if you're watching for Kaita, then Kaita is, yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's people that are, like, definite, there's people that... And then there's people that are just minor characters in the background.
Yeah.
It's specifically the people that, like, ranked, you know...
The high-ranking kids, you definitely see more
the high-ranking kids
of.
versus the lower-ranking kids. Yeah. Or, like, Camden doesn't rank super highly, but becomes, like, one of those people that's, like, maybe a main character for you. He became for us. We love Camden by the end. Love Camden. But the Yehua kids were a big main characters for
all
us.
of them. Like
not all of them. There were some we forgot were
well,
there.
there's one who is just gone immediately.
Coming along.
Yeah.
No, I thought you meant the one that was coming along. We figured out that Ollie is just Broduce Justin.
Yes.
If you remember Justin.
By the end of the show, Ollie does pull like a full Justin.
He does, because he becomes idol producer Justin.
Yes.
Ricky starts as idol producer Justin.
Yes.
And then completes that arc, because he also comes in 4th place.
Ricky also
just like Justin
is like
did an idol producer.
Almost doing a reverse Justin, because Ricky starts as idol producer Justin and then gets cuter the longer the show goes on.
Gets very cute as it goes on. But so did idol producer Justin. Idol producer Justin became the child that
the actual child he was, yeah.
Also, we say this, Ricky is a natural blonde.
He is a natural blonde.
Ricky is a natural blonde.
I will be taking no further questions about that.
He is so we saw his mother at that finale. She was
also
blonde.
a blonde.
Ricky's a natural blonde. Natural blonde Ricky. His hair, when we did first see him, I did just say the words, his hair looks crunchy.
It is very it starts off very crunchy, his hair.
Eugen is this season's designated child. There's always one.
Yep, and this time it's
we
Eugen.
We were very scared it was gonna be a Wan Young Somi situation because, oof.
Yes.
Like the children are fine. Child centers are questionable.
Yes. Eugen is not untalented. He is just...
No, we like Eugen.
He just starts the show at 15 years old, so he is like a child.
He is just, the thing is, he is just 15. Also, my problem with Eugen is not Eugen, it is the way people treat Eugen.
Yes, that's the big problem with Eugen. Which is not Eugen's fault in any capacity.
It's not Eugen.
Yeah.
It is the weird older women that surround Eugen.
Lip J.
Including Lip J. Specifically Lip J. Zhang Hao is Theo.
They are the same person. Like,
they are the same person.
They're the same.
The same. And then also, Brian might be a racist.
Yep, we find that at some point. That
we find that out outside
probably
of the show.
A racist.
Because he has done some questionable things in his past. But that was we have so many Yehua opinions.
Well, there's so many of them, and 5 of them make it so far into the show. Like,
they do.
6 of them, also, really.
Yeah. Wake One does 2 of the best performances.
Yes.
Because they send kids with a bunch of different performances, but specifically
Wake One has 3 performances on this show.
Do. But specifically Glitch Mode, which is Anthony Haruto
and another kid.
Another person who
is not a main character. Well, only Haruto is really a character, but we love Anthony, so we also
just
here
love
for
Anthony. Anthony is one of our main characters.
Yes,
we love him, so they're incredible. We love them. And then they also do the reel.
Yep.
Why was the reel so good, and why is the reel a song that gets covered so well? Because between this and Peak Time...
And DKB's the
really
reel. Great.
And DKB,
both great covers of that song.
Good. Absolutely amazing. Jellyfish, one of the only other big-ish companies that sends trainees, that is, like, Because here's the thing. It is either you are auditioning with your company or you are auditioning by location of birth.
Yes. Which is wild, honestly.
And also, people get separated by location of birth and company because 2 of the Nine Eye Kids audition as the Nine Eye Kids.
Yep.
And then Winnie has to go over here to audition with
the other Thai
with
Nice and the Thai in the Thailand
Thai
group.
with people that have only and we also find out that a lot of those kids, especially the kids that don't know each other, had a couple hours to figure it out because they've never met.
Wild.
Which is weird.
It's wild that this is happening.
We find out all the Japanese kids audition together by location, so you have Kaita and Hiruto auditioning in the same song.
Like, they've never met before.
Which is 0 for conduct, which is a weird choice either. Also a great performance. Absolutely love that audition. They did great. But what?
Those kids have never met before having to audition for the show.
Absolutely not. But yeah, no, Jellyfish, one of the only bigger companies that sends trainees this season.
They're really trying to set up Gunwook as a main character immediately, but then it doesn't happen for the rest of the show.
No, he becomes a pseudo main character.
Yeah. Like, they were setting him up to be like the Dayan of this season, but there are so many other people in this show that were more popular and more interesting that whole storyline just dies immediately.
Yes. Hanbin and Matthew have my favorite friendship.
Very cute friendship, because apparently they used to be Cube trainees together, and they both escaped there, thankfully.
Thank God.
Uh-huh.
They still wouldn't have debuted.
I know.
Cube hasn't debuted a boy group in
since Pentagon. Since Pentagon.
Since Queen.
And Pentagon's here.
Pentagon's still here. Why? That company's falling apart.
I hate them. They fucking Cube sucks.
They're terrible. Love them.
Uh-huh.
Both their auditions are amazing.
Yes.
Matthew is love from first sight.
Matthew is the most adorable human being ever.
Also, want to point out that I was looking for Matthew because I have gotten recommendations of Matthew's sister, who is now all over TikTok too, because everyone's like, "Oh, it's the sister."
Matthew's sister. Matthew's sister was out here promoting Matthew from day one.
She was promoting Matthew before the show aired because I got that recommended of just "Hi, it's my brother Matthew," and I'm like, "Okay." And then and then her brother shows up, and I'm like, in love.
There he is. He's adorable.
He's amazing, and I loved him. What else was there? Hanbin did do a dance off with Lip J, which was the only time I thought Lip J was kind of fun.
Yeah, but Hanbin also does better than Lip J.
She does better. She does. He does. He's amazing.
Yes, Hanbin is amazing.
I love
Incredible.
Him. Incredible. Also, auditions with Beautiful Beautiful, which again, another song. I'm like, why Beautiful Beautiful?
That also has gotten 2 pretty good covers this year. Yeah.
Gotten very good covers this year. So 3 of the Japanese kids, some questionable, including June's brother, audition with Shine. Oh boy.
They do also a very bad cover.
Very
bad cover of Shine, but also 3 of the kids who were supposed to be in that performance are not on the show because they dropped out before they started filming.
Yep. So really, I was not expecting that much.
No.
But also it makes Hui cry.
Yes.
And you know what? Not upset about it. Cry more.
It's honestly pure comedy watching Hui have
hilarious.
A mental breakdown during the worst cover of Shine you've ever seen.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's we end an episode on it, and it's we do not acknowledge at all how bad that performance of Shine is.
No, we see the performance of Shine, but we see half of it through the eyes of Hui,
just
and
crying.
Then they do not give that much feedback.
Because we end an episode on it, we do not re-air that scene at all, and we just, when we pick that storyline back up, we just start back up at Hui's audition, so.
Yep.
There was no acknowledgement of how bad that was.
In my mind, it throws him off.
It does.
Also, love the fact that Hui decides to sit in the number 1 chair because he's confident like that. And the number one chair produce curse continues.
It continues. That is a curse we do not break on this season.
Hey, we did break the other curse.
We did break the second place curse, which is nice.
Because so that curse is that if someone comes in second place in the first
elimination ranking, they never make the group.
They don't make the group. And they did this time for the first time
because that was Matthew.
In Korean produce. Yes. In Korean produce specifically.
And that was Matthew. So Matthew broke that curse for everybody.
Yes.
Good job, Matthew.
So now I think we got to talk about this is really when the fandom of this show
The
goes,
self-awareness,
like, too meta.
yeah.
The self-awareness is too far.
Uh-huh.
Because it was Lee Tile. We're just gonna cover his whole arc
Yes.
right now.
Yes, yes.
So he auditions. It's bad. He auditions, I think, with Love Scenario, right?
I think so. I want to say
I don't remember. Something. I don't. It's not important.
Yeah.
But he is set up that people in Korea seem to find him charming.
Yes.
People seem to like him. I hear rumors. I hear rumblings.
Yes.
And then
people
you
like
get
him
the first
because he's
elimination.
cute. He's a really he's cute.
He is very
he's
cute.
a visual.
He's very
People
charming.
like that, yeah.
And then the first ranking comes out, and he's in like 10th.
I think he's in the top 9 at the first episode because people were voting for him based on
Yeah.
visuals alone.
But very specifically, people are like, well, this kid's gonna drop. Like, people didn't actually, because the first episode happens, but that's before, it's all the voting that happens
First
before people
elimination,
saw.
he's in 13th.
Yeah. In elimination, he's 13th.
Yeah.
And then people riot.
Yes.
Because they're like, we can't, like, he can't just
he can't keep
here.
doing this.
He
Like, we
can't keep
cannot
doing
allow
this.
him to
And
do
I'm like,
this.
the kid, but also, it felt very personal to him because it's like, this kid didn't do anything.
He's bad. I mean, he's bad. Like, it's
He's
like,
bad,
he's bad, but...
So were a lot of kids,
Yeah.
and they did not get vitriol. People
And so
seemed
the
like
next
they
time,
hated this
the
kid.
next time we see his ranking, he's in 41st place.
And he went home.
Yeah.
And then he went home on the second
And then
ranking
he
with
goes
no
home
fanfare
immediately.
whatsoever because he ranked so. It wasn't even that he like barely scraped, like was at the edge of like
Yeah.
getting saved. No, he was deep in the ranks that went
And
home.
that wasn't even a Korean global issue. That was the entire population of people watching the show simultaneously
"We
decided
can't
we
do
cannot
this.
let this happen.
We can't let it happen again.
Yeah.
Which was the problem. And I'm
Mhm.
like, damn. You're getting too self-aware because
Yes.
my problem with it was like I'm fine with him going home. He probably should have gone home.
Yeah.
But like it just felt like weirdly a personal attack on this child where
Yes.
people were like, he's terrible, he's not
Where
cute, he's ugly. I'm like, relax, he's
And
not,
I think
like,
the reason
not the
that
worst
happened
thing I've
is nothing
seen.
to do with him. It's because of the previous iterations of the
Yes.
show, and what has happened is why he got so fucked over.
absolutely.
I also do
Which-
think that Takuto is like infringing on that position as well. And for some
Yes.
reason Takuto had more fans. And so it was like Lee Dahl really got like the bulk of the like we can't let this
Yes,
happen.
I think that if Lee Dahl had not gotten 13th place and like whoever
Because
was
Takuto was teetering on the edge, and so I think that's what made him less of a threat to people. But
Yes.
Takuto or Lee Dahl ranking 13th was like we can't have
I
that.
think that if Takuto had ranked 13th, the same
Same thing would have happened to him for sure.
Also,
Yeah.
would like to know, Mnet was trying to push Takuto because, look, we watched the full auditions.
Yes.
Before we even saw all of the auditions in the episode, we watched all of them.
Yes.
And Takuto does a backflip. In the edit, they seem like he lands it great.
No.
He doesn't.
He does not.
He fucks
He
up that
does not
backflip
land that backflip.
at all.
He will
Like,
then
does he
do
land on his feet? Yes. He doesn't, like, wipe out on the floor, but does he land it well?
in
Absolutely
the
not.
audition, he straight up trips after it. He will then
He
go on to
does.
do another backflip in a performance that he also does not land.
He lands that one a little better, because he doesn't do the
He
tripping
lands it
after,
on
but
his
he does it
hands.
great.
Yeah,
No.
but he doesn't trip. But he's still
No.
he does not land the backflip.
Absolutely not. But, like, I do think Mnet was trying to set up, because I think they wanted, like, because he's also, like, in the 15-16 range. I think that they were like, well, if we can't get Yujin, what if they wanted, because Yujin is a child.
Yes.
And you can tell he's a child, but he's not, like, Takuto child.
He's not. He doesn't look like a
He's
child
not
in the way that Takuto looks like several
Yes.
years younger than what he probably is.
Yeah, like, and then because there's children in these shows that, like, lean into the cute.
Yes.
And lean into that kind of thing. If you told me Eugene was, like, 17,
Yeah.
and, like, his face is very child, but, like, the mannerisms and everything else, you told me he was, like, 17, 18, I'd be like, yeah, sure, he looks young, but yeah, sure, why not?
Right.
Takuto is a child.
It's like, yeah, because,
and
yeah, I think
leans
that's
into
different,
it.
because Yujin looks young, but Takuto looks like a literal child.
A
Yeah.
child. Specifically in, like, specifically also how they dress this kid and everything else, it seems.
Yeah.
Also, the culture shock, because Takuto, I will say, for foreigners on this show, the level of Korean especially as it goes on, is so high.
A lot of these kids just fluent
kids are
in
so
Korean.
fluent.
Like might as well be
Well,
Korean.
Kaita is. If his name wasn't Kaita, I would forget.
Yeah.
Like Zhang Hao's Korean's really good. Ricky's Korean's really good. Like even a bunch of people that are like haven't been in a K-pop group have very fluent Korean. So it's like it says it goes on, the language barrier is quite low. Like
this
less
first round is really where the major language barrier problem happens.
But that isn't even really a Korean issue.
It's not, because they have them perform round 1 G versus K group, so all the Koreans are fine. But the global group is struggling because sometimes we have groups that speak like 5 different languages.
Because you'll have like Japan and China and like Thailand, and like you're trying to figure out like what's the base language here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll finish the auditions really quick. Woongi and Jerome are here, and Mnet helps them the hell out because they show a lot of reactions coming from those two.
Yes.
They do not air
that audition. That's for the better. And their audition is really not great.
It's so bad. It's not good at all.
They're really helping out Woongi a lot by giving him minimal screen time these round 1 and auditions, because he is not thriving in the beginning of this show that much.
And the thing is, both of them extremely talented. We love them in 2. We love them in TO1. But I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if they were just thrown off by now that there's only 2 of them and not.
It was a bad song choice.
It was also
a really bad song choice for them.
They did Bloom Bloom. Bloom Bloom is not a good song. I feel like a lot of these bad auditions come down to the problem in song choice.
Absolutely.
Because we're also, I feel like, trying to sing songs way out of your range and way out of your comfort level.
Absolutely.
So then we get to the Hui audition. Hui's obsessed with Blackpink.
Yeah, he's really has some type of obsession with them, and it's
a bad thing.
Yeah, because he covers Shut Down by Blackpink, and it's very much giving the Kill This Love that they did. Kill This Love?
On Road to Kingdom?
Was that the song they did on Road to Kingdom with ONF?
Yeah, they did Kill This Love. Very bad.
It's very bad. He also feels like he's embarrassed that he's in Pentagon.
He does feel like he's embarrassed.
Because the story they're trying to give us of Hui is that, and again, I don't buy this. Again, we don't buy this story because there's so little time in between him getting out of the military and the filming of this show. He says he got out of the military and he came back and he's like, oh, and Pentagon was in a different state than it was before I went into the military.
Yeah, you weren't there.
And it makes them sound like they're these decrepit old men that everyone refuses to work with. And he was like, I was really sad and this is my last chance. And then I'm like, what are you talking about?
Like, that makes absolutely, like, you just came back.
Pentagon is literally going to overseas, like, concert performances while you're on this show.
While you're gone.
What are you talking about?
Also the fact that, like, Hui, you have been a part of... They also make it seem like, oh, it's just this failure of a group with, like, no impact. I'm like, Shine was super impactful. You've gone to, like, you've done tours. You've been a part of one of the most major K-pop scandals of the last 5 years. What more do you want,
it's like, my
man?
God, you write so many songs, like successful, well-known songs that people know you specifically have written. Like, I don't understand.
For this show!
For this show, too! Like, what are you doing here?
What do you want more from your life? Well, yeah, you're not BTS, but if everybody had to go on produce for not being BTS...
The whole industry would be on this show.
Would be
like,
there.
My God.
Like, what do you want? What more do you want from this industry? This isn't CLC.
No, it's not.
Because I also think this isn't CLC.
Absolutely not CLC.
Like, yeah, sure, I don't know if Pentagon hit the heights of, like, Beast at their peak, but, like, I don't know what exactly he deems as a failure here. Yeah. Because Pentagon was not a failure of a group.
No, I also want to make it known that Hui has gone on, I think I counted, something like 13, like, music competition shows before.
He's obsessed.
He has an obsession. He has an addiction to this.
But the other thing is, I feel like he just wants to win one.
Yeah. Well, it's not like he hasn't won the other ones he's been on. Them. He has won.
But I think he's obsessed with winning. That's the thing.
That's like my guy. Like, you can't.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's that. So great. Everyone auditions. they're questionable auditions, but that's every produce. Every produce has shitty auditions with like a few gems.
You really have to get through auditions in round 1 before the show really picks up, because everyone was complaining while watching the show, and they were like, the talent level is so bad this year, and I'm like, this is how every produce is like.
This is every produce.
You have
like,
there's 90 something people on this show. You have to weed out the people first. Like you have to get to round 2 before you get the actual like good talent.
Yeah. So now we go on to they get maybe the worst jerseys ever.
Terrible.
So the way they do it is because they can't do letters because technically it's not produce anymore. They do star rankings.
Same thing
Each
as
star
letters.
ranking then corresponds to a color. That color is then paired with your color of either pink for global or blue for Korean. That means that it's a weird patchwork situation.
Then there's like 8 different types of shirts here. So
like,
many
it's like
shirts.
a jersey, but like so many shirts. Because then if you change your star rank, you have to get a different shirt. And it just looks like shit.
There's like far too many colors going on and they look bad together.
Yeah. And it's not even like complementary colors, because we're dealing with like pastel pink and like a weird like blue.
Yeah.
Like a royal blue.
Yep.
And then you're dealing with like orange and yellow and like
yellow, green, and like lavender,
and also like a gray. For, like,
it's just like
stars.
really there's too much going on here.
We're not dealing with complementary colors, if you will. No one looked at color theory to try to make because I think if you looked at color theory to make these jerseys, you just have the word no on the paper.
Yep.
It wouldn't even be a suggestion of color; it'd just be the word no. Also, I like the subtle I have to believe that there's subtle racism in giving the global trainees.
Absolutely subtle racism giving pink to the global. That's like a microaggression.
It is a microaggression.
Feels like a microaggression.
In like this season of this show. I don't know. It just felt like that. Also, they go into the dorms. Woongi sings My Bag in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Amazing, incredible, amazing. Woongi sounds like he'd be a terrible roommate.
I would hate to be roommates with him, but he's having the time of his life, and I love that for him, because I'm not there dealing with it, but...
This is also where we begin. Him and So-won are in the same room.
Him and So-won's absolutely iconic duo for the entire duration of the show. Duo.
We'll get more of them later, but like this is where it begins.
Yes.
It began at the beginning of the show.
It began when he dances My Bag in the middle of the night.
So round 1, G versus K. There's also a bit about them doing the pick me. Who cares?
Yeah, the pick me stuff is like always boring every time. There's nothing of interest going on there.
Star rankings and like who cares?
There's truly nothing of interest going on in that part of the show.
I will say the only thing about that does come in. Hanbin, a humble king.
Humble king.
Love him. Okay, so first is G versus K. Essentially, they're all doing the same song. Like, there's a global group, there's a Korean group doing the same song. Who does it better? Mediocre Koreans, apparently.
Every single time it's the Koreans.
So many mediocre Koreans.
Every single time except for once, the Koreans win this round.
And so many mediocre Koreans doing mediocre.
Yes.
This is really where you see that the Koreans are very, like, fine. They're very idle. The global kids have a lot of personality.
A lot more charisma, a lot more charm to them. Yeah. Also, it's like... The global team is at such an inherent disadvantage this entire round because we already talked about, there's a language barrier between them when they're planning. Also, they're all having to sing a song in Korean, which is almost like it's not a first language for like any of those kids.
It's not even like a third
language. Not even like a second language for some of them. Yeah, it's like that's already another disadvantage.
Yeah.
And it's just the entire it feels like the entire round is set up for the entire global half of the show to fail.
Absolutely. Everyone is just out here and like the sentiment at the time is like, well, by the end of this round when we do the first elimination, it's going to be 45 Koreans and 15 global by this point.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like.
Yes.
Because the show is so favoring them.
We do at the end of this elimination round have a much more even split of global to Korean than I would have expected, which is good.
Well, here's the other thing. This is the first, because I don't remember, did Produce X allow international voting?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Remember
so in theory, this will be the first produce group that included international voting, because I remember any of the other produces did not. It was only a Korean group, so that is also partially where that's all coming from.
Oh, so this we're not talking about Kepler because we've established Kepler is not produce.
Kepler's like a spin-off. Kepler is a spin-off.
Yep.
This is back to normal produce. Kepler was the legally we can't make produce, it's too soon.
Yes.
No one's out of jail yet.
Yes.
People left prison in the middle of this show.
Yep, people left prison and got rehired at Abnett during the middle of this show, so...
Produce is back, bitch!
Yep, here we are.
So here's the thing. Here's another note. We have Hui, a one-trick pony.
A one-trick pony.
And has been a one-trick pony since Edon left Pentagon.
Yes. We tracked it back to when things are going downhill, and it's immediately when Edon leaves Pentagon.
Yes. Edon leaves Pentagon, and Hui loses all self-control.
Yes.
And attempts to become the star of Pentagon.
Yes.
Which he's not, and never has been.
And is just belting all over the place.
Belting.
All over the place. Literally
the
looks like his veins are gonna pop out of his head every time.
Oh, he makes it look like it's killing him to sing. And I'm like, Hui, relax.
Calm down, my dude.
Calm down. And you can tell it's an act, too.
Yeah.
You can tell he's fine. Like, just, relax, Hui.
You don't have to be this dramatic about it. Like,
do not.
Oh, so this also we realize that we recognize that Tay-Ray is a person here. And people like him, but we don't know why.
We don't fully understand the Tay-Ray, but we do realize,
we will later
hello.
understand the Tay-Ray.
Yes, we do. But, in the beginning, we're like, Tay-Ray is a person I need. Tay-Ray is one of those minor characters in the background I need to know.
Yes.
And I will say, I am happy that we did recognize, because this is one of the only times where we're like, we did end up with a YU.
Yeah.
Everyone I get everything.
Yes.
I understand everybody that was in that, finale.
Absolutely. Every single person who was in the finale could have been in that group, and I would have been okay, except for one of them.
Except Hui.
No, Hui, and then the other kid who we just straight up do not know who
we forget.
Is. Yeah,
we do forget that he's there. That too. But those two really are.
Yeah.
I know who everybody is except that one kid.
Yep.
So then let's go through some.
We've got
two performances specifically.
We got 4-ish performances that are noteworthy here.
So, look. I'm sorry. There is nothing I have to say about the performances where literally everyone then gets kicked out.
Yes.
I forgot that they did burn it. Until, yesterday when I was looking up what this show did. I'm like, oh, burn it.
Burn it happens. Danger happens. Danger happens. They're not good.
Hot sauce happens.
Hot sauce happens. Ollie is
even though I do love Ollie.
Best.
Ollie is amazing.
Ollie
I love
is really
Ollie.
carrying.
What else is Very nice happens.
Very nice, and that's something that happens.
The one Yehua kid carries because he's the only one that can hit the notes.
Yep, and Woongi is there and not thriving in that
Sowon is also there.
Yes.
Here's the thing with Aju Nice. We've realized that it is one of those songs you don't appreciate because it feels so effortless when 17 sings it, but it's so difficult to sing
they
because
gotta stop covering
those
17
notes
songs.
Are those notes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of 17 songs,
They gotta stop covering 17, really. It's much
idea.
harder than they think it is.
So there's two performances. Three-ish performances we actually want to go over.
Yes.
We want to go over Kill This Love.
Yes.
So, Global Kill This Love is when we get the iconic, which I didn't realize until after that
Kaita makes
apparently
it.
Kaita made it.
Yeah.
I love you. I want you. Suck match you.
Yes.
He will come.
He will
Matthew will come to regret
that
making this
because he
and
will
having
have to
do
say
it.
that the rest of his career.
But also, I love it.
It's adorable.
I think it's the cutest thing in the
He's
world.
Adorable.
Thank you, Kaita. You are an icon.
Yes.
More than you already were.
Yes.
Also, Kaita absolutely incredible in this. Kaita, Matthew, Zhang Hao have star-making performances in this song specifically.
Yeah.
Incredible for them. Absolutely iconic.
Global Kill This Love is the only global team that wins.
Yes.
The only other team that had a chance, I think, was Global Love Me, right?
Love Me,
but
right?
they lose that by quite a bit.
And also that song
the
specifically
versus
becomes
J battle.
the J battle,
Yeah.
which in my opinion J won.
He did. And that
He
performance
won.
is really where Jay gets unnecessarily humbled, I think, because he
For no reason!
He gets, like, I feel like way less screen time in the show after that point in time.
Oh, absolutely. Because before the show started, we had our opinions on who was going to be standout. We thought that, in our opinion, even though we were going to be sad about it, that Jay and Matthew were too similar, being too... Completely forgetting that Camden even
North
exists.
American Asians, yeah.
Completely forgetting Camden is a person that could have also given, because they edit Camden out
this
so
show does
effectively.
not really, like, acknowledge Camden for a while.
This show does not acknowledge Camden until it is forced to acknowledge Camden.
Until Camden
this
is
show wanted
scraping
Camden
by
out
every
soon.
single elimination, and he's still here.
Absolutely. Camden clung like a king.
Yes.
But
deserved,
it is from that point that we were like, well, Jay and Matthew are too similar. Why do I feel like the show wants to favor Jay?
And we always
and
thought Jay was going to win that.
backtracks.
Yeah, we always thought Jay was going to win that battle, but then Matthew clearly came out a front runner from that.
Claim out a front runner. And also it's from here on that we're like, damn, this show I think hates Jay.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They do. The show does not like Jay.
So then we got to talk about Korean Kill This Love,
yes.
in which completely destroys Hwanhee of Uptension.
Yeah,
because
Gunwook just steamrolling over Hwanhee of Uptension the entire time.
And giving him the worst advice.
Yeah.
It's the worst ideas.
Oh, man.
And then they lose. And it honestly did turn Gunwook around for me because it did humble him.
This was a needed loss for Gunwook because Gunwook came in here thinking and also getting the edit that he was hot shit, and then he loses this, being the only Korean team to lose this.
Yes.
I think humbled him real fast, but it like helped him for the rest of the show because he realized he needed to like. He wasn't here, and he wasn't an immediate lock in this group. That he had legitimate competition
he had to work
here.
for
He had
it.
to work for it more.
And honestly, now I like Gunwook.
I do.
I think Gunwook is
after
actually
that point,
a good.
I turned around on
good
Gunwook
person.
after that point.
It was what needed to happen.
Yes.
I think this whole the Kill This Love battle is what needed to happen.
Yes.
Look. Also, Backdoor is the only one where we were kind of pissed because Backdoor G version was better.
Yes. The Backdoor G version also has is that where the Christian Camden situation is happening?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because so what happens in Backdoor Global is that every single person in that team except for Camden can speak Chinese or Mandarin. And Camden is just like, and they made Camden the
Korean
leader
American.
because Camden can speak Korean, and that's helpful for the show. But now you have elected a leader who cannot communicate with the rest of the team.
Cannot communicate with any member of this team, who also then start communicating amongst themselves.
Yes.
Without thinking about including Camden in any capacity.
And then it's like, this entire arc with Christian, people are like, Christian was evil edited. And I'm like, I get that to an extent, but I also don't like him. Like, here is the thing with evil editing, and it is the theme of evil editing for this year, because it's also the evil editing going on in Boys Fantasy. Yes.
Which is that you can be evil edited with reactions, you can be evil edited with a lot of things. You can be evil edited if it feels like they're splicing sentences together. When I am watching a full conversation happen, and you said the shit you said, some shit you can't explain by evil editing.
And it's like,
some shit you said it, and they aired it.
And it's also like
something you said on camera.
Because people are always going back to the behavior where they're, where Camden is clearly trying to communicate with the rest of the team, and Christian is like not helping, and Christian could, because Christian also speaks English, so he could easily communicate with Camden and is seemingly not doing it.
And the thing with it is that you can see that some members are also trying, because Ricky
seems to
like
be trying.
attempting.
Yeah,
Ricky is attempting.
Because we also don't know at this point in time that Ricky can speak English.
Yes. And here's the other thing, and here's the other agenda we find out, like, as the show goes on. I think the show specifically wants to edit Ricky down to a minimum.
This show hates Ricky. This show tried
Ricky
so hard to evil edit Ricky, but Ricky was giving them nothing, so they couldn't do it.
I do think that the show also tries to, because I also see them seeing the Yehua trainees as a whole as being extremely popular.
Yeah.
Because Brian's also on this team, and we know Brian can speak English.
We don't see Brian. Brian is
we don't see Brian
not be
ever
here.
in this show.
Brian is not on the show.
This becomes a Christian Camden battle Mainly because I do think that everyone else is trying to solve the situation, like Ricky and what I would assume Brian.
Yeah.
And Christian is just trying to be antagonistic.
And also,
and I don't
what
know
happens
why.
is, like, because Christian starts off as the killing part, and then they do an evaluation, and the judges are like, you need to change him because he's not doing well. And then Christian refuses. He refuses to give up the killing part, and that's where I'm also like, this is like where I'm like, I don't like you. Like, you're not behaving in a way that is helpful for the team.
We are not reaching the point of this show. Like, we are still on the first round of the show.
Yeah,
there's a point where you can be like, well, I want the killing part. I want to showcase my talent.
Yeah,
this is the first round of the show.
Yeah.
You don't, like, it is, right now, what is going to be the most beneficial to you is for the team to do well.
Yes.
For you as an individual, whatever. And then you actually watch the performance, and the main, the standout is the killing part.
And then Ricky gets the killing part, but Ricky's doing it great. Yeah, Ricky's doing a great job.
Ricky does amazing. Because if you did it like shit, guess what? No one would care. Because Christian does not do it well. Because also Christian sings like he smokes a pack a day.
He does.
He sings like he sounds
that's
like
another
a
thing
smoker.
I'll never understand. Where like Christian vocals are top tier, and I'm like, the man sounds like he smokes a pack a day. Like, I don't see it. Like, I don't understand.
He sounds like he's been smoking a pack a day for like a decade. Like, he started like, what is going on here?
And it's like, I guess it's like that's a style you can be into, but he does not sound good. Like, it doesn't sound good. Like
you see it more in the limousine performance.
Yeah, because there's only 3 people in that, so it's like you really hear it in that. But
yeah,
you also hear it more in his audition, the Love Me Right audition.
Oh yeah,
where it's like,
oh yeah, it was real bad. But yeah, no, in that performance, Ricky is a goddamn highlight.
Absolutely.
He's a delight. So now we get to an elimination episode.
Yeah.
I have way more to say about the random things that happen between each other.
Absolutely.
So, this is the beginning of the Haobin love story.
Yes, yes.
It's been continuing. It continues on. Even though they were not in the same group, they're...
No. Because this is where they start flirting with each other across the global Korean lines when they're having this dance battle.
And by, like, flirting, I mean blowing kisses. Like, there's hearts, there's kisses, there's a lot. Like, Hui just looks like... Hui realizes he's again a third wheel.
Yes. That's another through line of the show is Hui is third wheeling the shit out of this show.
Hard. It's Triple H all over again.
This is another thing Hui does over the course of shows. He decides to attach himself to a person who I think deems as popular at the time.
Yes.
And for a while
it starts out as Hanbin.
Yes.
And then Hanbin and Zhang Hao become a thing.
Couple. They are inseparable.
Then he has to so then he scrambles and figures out, Gyuvin. I got him.
I think he goes to Gunwook first, and then to
Gunwook, and then Gyuvin,
and then he's attached to them. And I'm like,
because he realizes like Gunwook is receptive to it, but then he realizes Gyuvin is more popular than Gunwook, and he drops Gunwook.
But Gyuvin is also like such a pair with Yujin, and like a brotherly in like a very brotherly way. They're in a like
very
friends.
like little best friend way.
Yeah,
yes.
And so that's not even really working for him either.
No, he becomes another third wheel.
Yes.
The only person he could have latched onto that would have worked was Gunwook, but he didn't deem Gunwook as popular enough for him.
Yeah.
He probably saw himself as on par, if not more popular than Gunwook, which is not
look
true.
How that turned out for you, Hui.
Look how that turned out for him.
Yep.
So, the most interesting thing is this little dance-off, because they pick, like, one global, one Korean.
They have a dance-off.
And really the only thing let's get the racism out of the way. This entire thing was very racist.
It was, because it was the global team won like most of those dance battles, and then they set up a thing at the end where it's like, we're gonna do a 2-on-2 dance battle with the mentors, and then whoever wins that will just win the whole thing. And I'm like, okay. And then the Koreans win it. And I'm like, okay, I see. Even the things that don't matter are racist.
Are rigged for the Koreans. Yep. But we gotta talk about the iconic moment. We gotta talk about the one moment that happened. So, they pair up Kaita and Woongi.
Yes.
2 short kings.
Yes. This dance battle is iconic.
It is gayer than lip syncs on Drag Race. Like,
Woongi
it's so
is doing so
Woongi
much.
is out here like crawling between Kaita's legs.
Woongi is on the floor half the time.
It low.
Like, my god.
He is just Like, there's so much
so
happening. Everyone is just loving it.
Everyone is like absolutely thriving watching
Everyone's
this.
screaming. They're covering Yujin's eyes like,
yeah, he's
like
you
he can't
it's
watch.
too explicit for you.
I think between that and, like, Halbin flirting.
Yes.
And then Kaita, like, gives as hard as, like, gives it back.
He does,
like,
but not in the same energy that Woongi is giving.
It's not the same energy as Woongi.
Yes.
But still, it was a lot.
I also love that Haruto just yells, "You're a bird" at some...
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna go with it.
And that's a clip I see often, is just Haruto's, "You're a bird."
I love that so much. Also, that Haruto speaks English, so it's not even like it's a thing of he is saying something he, like, got the wrong word. No, this is purposeful. He knows what that means. It's what that means in his mind, I don't know.
He screams it when Kwanji is doing that, like, helicopter spin thing or whatever.
You're a bird! Yeah. Still, what? How is that doing anything?
Haruto is also thriving. He does, apparently he does have a dance battle with Hanbin that they do not air.
Why was that not aired? So, there's a lot of things on this show that were not aired for some reason.
A variety of reasons, but who's to say, really? But
I want all of them to. I want the 7 hour.
I want the unedited dance battle.
Like,
fucking give that to me. I want to see it.
I want unedited dance battle. I want unedited sports.
Absolutely.
Day. I want all of. I will take 10 hours of footage. I'll comb it. I'll do it.
Right.
I'll watch the whole thing. I'll make a day of it.
Yep.
We would make a day of it.
Absolutely. We don't watch your entire day.
So, during this elimination, Christian does admit he's a bad person on live television. And seems correct.
Is where the self-awareness comes in, where Christian is here and he's, like, aware that he's being evil edited, and I don't know if him saying, "Oh, it's a bad Christian," here in his, like, live speech. I don't know if I like that. Really?
I think that it's, again, people on the show getting too meta.
Yes.
Because because if you are a bad person, you can always then, like,
blame
have the excuse of edit.
Yes.
Blame the edit. Well, you can't blame the edit. You said that shit.
You still did it.
You said it.
You still did it. Like,
you still did it. I'm waiting for someone to punch someone on probably Boys Fantasy and then blame the edit.
K-Soul would punch a person.
K-Soul would do it. K-Soul's gonna punch Santa and then blame the edit.
Yeah.
We hate K-Soul. Spoiler for the Boys
Spoiler
Fantasy.
Spoiler K-Soul was the worst person to ever be on a survival show.
K-Soul's very American for that.
Yes.
K-Soul can end up on Big Brother or somehow.
Oh my god, he sucks.
And just be so trashy.
He's the trashiest
and say
person.
something racist.
Yeah, he's so bad. He sucks.
Awful.
Real sucks.
Awful. Awful.
Yes.
But back to this.
Yes.
Fun story. June's brother comes in 75th place, so yay, not
91st, which is an improvement.
Yay. He does go home. Yay, 91st place. Not 91st
place.
We have to talk about the weird cultural appropriation.
We got the jump scare cultural appropriation, which is a wild sentence to say, but it happened.
But also cultural appropriation used as
a prank.
Pseudo prank? Because also, I will say, I like the amount of self-awareness these kids have.
Yeah.
Because, one, a lot of them are laughing.
Camden is not amused at this.
Unamused.
Camden is unamused by the whole situation.
They bring out essentially a headdress.
Yep.
And they do it specifically, because they do it to all of the teams, but specifically they do the headdress to the Kill This Love team. Everyone else gets
it's the weird, Korean Love Me Right team.
Korean Love Me Right, sorry. Yeah. But they also, like, everyone else gets, like, and you have to do it with a feather boa.
Or it's like,
feather boa.
Or they have, like, Doha switch his stage outfit with, like, the skinniest kid on that team. Like,
yes.
It's like, it's all the other ones are, like, harmless, funny outfits.
Or, like, you have to do it, like, shirtless or something. Like, they were, like, doing different things. Or, like, with your arm showing or, like, things like that.
But not this.
Korean, Love Me Right gets headdress.
Yes.
Native American headdress.
Yep.
And here's the thing. Hui puts it on and is like, okay, this is funny. That brings us to flashbacks of something that we had forgotten about, but only because we are doing our, like,
worst songs of the
year. We remember that the end of Critical Beauty is just this.
It's like,
he's already done
and Critical Beauty is also, like, a jump scare cultural appropriation. Like, it's the same thing.
There's also no reason.
And we're just like, is this a weird callback for Hui to Critical Beauty? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm like, was this on purpose for Critical Beauty?
And I do think they say everyone on the team except for Hui and also Gyuvin, who is, for the prank is apparently for, know that this is about to happen.
Yeah. And, like, Gyuvin at least
Gyuvin seems incredibly unamused by it. Like, he's like, I can't do this.
I am 50-50 on whether he is unamused because, like, I'm gonna look like an idiot or because he knows.
Yeah.
But, like, very specifically, they'll cut back and, because they're divided again into, I think it's Koreans on the left, global on the right. All the Koreans are cackling.
Yeah.
Like, cackling.
And then you see Camden in the corner, just unamused.
Camden is front row.
Yeah.
Front row, stone-faced, does not move.
Granted, that's how Camden is most of the time,
but also Camden knows how to laugh.
Camden is also American, and I think understands that this is not okay.
He knows. Like, stone-face, unmoving. Ricky also not really moving at all. Like, seems
the entire global side feels like they're finding it less funny because I think it's like, this is weird. Like, this is a weird thing to do.
I feel like specifically the American ones, I can't find Matthew in this sea of people.
Right.
But it's very specifically, you can see Camden and Ricky, because we now find out Ricky's from LA, so maybe he's a little more knows. But, like, very specifically, those two are, like, front row, smack dab, and, like, right there. You can see them.
Yeah.
And they are not moving. Specifically, Camden looks like he is trying to, like, move the least amount.
Yeah.
So that was a choice.
Because I watched all these episodes live, it happened, and I was like, I cannot believe this is happening before me right now. Like, what is going on? And they're using it's cultural appropriation, and it's being used as a prank. Like, I can't believe this is happening right now.
It's being used as a joke.
Oh, so Mnet does this, like, really shitty thing, what they called first elimination announcement live stream, which was a thing that they did twice, and they said it aired on Friday, like, right after the vote period closed. And we thought this was going to be the actual elimination announcement. Yeah. Turns out first elimination announcement means they announced one person who was safe. And that was Lee Dao in 13th place.
Which, again, seems like also they were like, we can't let this happen again.
Yep.
We can't let it happen again. Because at least I was hoping that they were going to announce, like, a couple people. No.
They got one. One kid. One person.
One kid. That's it. It was a waste of
everyone's time. And a lot of people stayed up late to watch that, only to find out that only Lee Dao was safe, and that has got to be disappointing.
Oh, absolutely. Because the only thing you get out of those is the entrances, which they edit down for the episode. So the only time you get to see, like, the full everybody entering. And then there was a
weird sports day, like a weird
section
indoor
of
sports day that happened. Yeah.
Which we would just not edit it out completely.
Yeah, we don't see this sports day ever again in the episode. Yeah.
They don't even edit clips of it. No. They don't even reference it. You just never
see it.
So then, somewhere in this time period, around 1 and 2, Hanbin's mother performance surfaces on the internet.
Yes.
So at some point, Hanbin, we keep saying Hanbin. There are 2 Hanbins on the show.
I actually think there are 3.
There are 3.
But one of them gets eliminated in the first round.
Here's the thing. If we're just saying the word Hanbin, it is Sung Hanbin.
Yeah.
If we ever want to talk about Park Hanbin, we will talk about Park Hanbin.
Yes.
This is all Sung Hanbin.
Yes.
So Sung Hanbin, it was part of, like, a dance
class type thing.
Class, crew, whatever. And he does a performance to RuPaul's Call Me Mother.
Uh-huh.
And I truly think that song is the theme of this show.
Absolutely.
Everything about this show has Call Me Mother in the background. Every TikTok.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
There's so many. It's this and then the Here Comes the Hurricane, like Katrina. Those 2 songs are on, like, almost every single edit I see of this show.
A fucking loop, and it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
And this is everyone was like, they de-gassified him for this show.
But did they, though?
They didn't. I mean, clearly he's out here having a love story with Jang Hao, so, like, not fully.
Clearly he's in love, so I think we're fine. So, yeah, so they do that. Okay, look.
Yep.
I will say this. He did lose a lot of weight.
Yes.
He got some plastic surgery.
Really good plastic surgery.
He looks amazing plastic surgery. Oh my god, he looks incredible.
He looks incredible.
Not that he was ugly before.
No.
Not that he was ugly before. but he looks amazing.
There's nothing wrong with getting plastic surgery. Like
No,
but
we're
wherever
fully
he
okay
got
with
his
it, but,
plastic
like,
surgery is
wherever
a really good plastic surgery.
He should be screaming that man's name from the rooftops because that man, incredible work.
Yes.
Other idols should go to that man if they're gonna get plastic surgery, let's be honest. But, like, incredible work. Loved it. Okay.
Round 2.
So now we move on to round 2. Round 2 is dual position round, which I think is the stupid. I love having Mnet, you own the produce license. You can just copy it outright.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this. Everyone already knows.
I don't think they also could have put a copyright on the term position battle. Like, I don't think that's thing that they could do anyway.
I feel like that's like putting a copyright on, like, the word, I don't know. Like, putting a copyright on, like, just basic words. Because you can't copyright, like, the word, like, anything you want.
Yep.
Like, position battle seems like the generic term.
Yes. But it's every single performance, it's either rap dance, vocal dance, or vocal rap. And those are the 3 categories. Instead of just doing vocal rap and dance, like, would be the logical way to do it. But
obviously.
Here we are.
Again, we have to, like, scratch off the serial numbers because it's not technically produce.
Sure. This is really, it being a dual position battle is what's screaming not produce to me.
I know. Truly. It's incredible. So, look. Essentially the way it goes is the way they pick is that you start with the lowest ranked person, they go somewhere, and there's X amount of spots per song, and then if someone is higher ranked than you, they can kick you out.
Yep.
Now they have to specifically pick who they kick out.
Yes.
Everybody wants Tomboy.
Yep.
Why?
Don't know.
I don't understand it.
A lot of people getting kicked out of Tomboy all the time.
Yes. This is also when we notice that Hui, at this moment, has latched onto Hanbin.
Yes, will not let go of him.
Will not physically let go of him.
No.
They are physically attached.
Yes.
Specifically, Hui is physically attached to him. Because this is before that Hanbin and Zhang Hao have even been in a performance together, so they haven't been able to, like, fully
They haven't had to
fully
flirt with each other yet.
Yeah, they've had to flirt across the ways like we're in West Side Story.
Yes.
This whole group of Tomboy is just... It's 4 people, and it's 4 people that were all in the top 9.
Yep.
Kicking out everybody else that's, like, wasn't in the top 9. So it becomes Hui, Zhang Hao, Hanbin, and Gunwook.
Yep.
This was still when we were on our turn on Gunwook, so we were, like, really, like, 50-50 on this performance.
I know.
We're like,
It's like, at this point in time, it was like, this is the 2 best boys and, like, 2 of the worst boys. And it's like, I don't know why this is happening.
We have a very specific song, thoughts about all of the songs. I like this phrase we have written here is, why are we covering the Knee Slapper approved worst song of 2017, Rain Gang, Gang by Rain, on this show?
Why? Why are we doing that in the year 2023? Why are we covering
specifically,
Gang?
I did like that. I think it was the higher music version, which
is but, like,
better.
It's still Gang by Rain.
At its core, it's still Gang by Rain.
And it was wild that we had recorded our episode on 2017 Worst of the Year before we even knew they were covering Gang by Rain, and we're just like, why are they covering?
And it came out after
worst
that
song
episode
of the
came
year.
out because we record these like a month in advance, except for this episode, which we were literally recording.
It's got a week turnaround, this one.
Because we're like, we gotta do
the people gotta know our opinions.
I gotta get this out of my body.
I know.
Yes. So they do an evaluation. Also, Gang does feel like they are trying to go full PPAP or full like what China does, which is have a joke song that's done funny.
Yes.
The problem is Korea will not go full like, we're not gonna actually just do a joke song.
Yeah.
Because China has done seaweed crab dance, seaweed dance, something like that. PPAP,
Sunshine
Rainbow White Horse, which is 2 of those are good, 2 of those are shit.
Yeah,
but like they won't go that far because I think that they still have to have the pretense that like because those songs do oftentimes, except for PPAP and even though PPAP, by the end, Kun did think that he had, like, sabotaged himself. And I'm like, I think you did.
He did.
You did that to yourself. You sabotaged
you're in
yourself
place
here.
and you want to cover PPAP? Like, that's on you.
He figured that out very quickly, that he had made the wrong choice. But, like, Sunshine Rainbow White Horse was the best performance of that round.
Great. That was one of the best performances on that show.
But for the most part, those, other than that one, those songs seem like they are, like, bottom of the barrel. This is setting you up for failure. Gang, I don't know if Produce can fully go with a song that's setting you up for failure.
I mean, this also was the song that got filled last. Like, no one wanted this song, really.
No,
it was like, it was a lot of the time, a lot of the people in the song were people who got kicked out of other songs and had to go to Gang. Because that was all that was left.
And then we're just like, well, I don't want to be, like, in this group as, like, the last person. I'll go to Gang and just see what happens. Oh, surprise Bobby happens at the evaluation. For the one round where PH1's knowledge could have been extremely useful, they did not show PH1 judging. Nope. They showed Bobby.
No, because I think Bobby gets put in the vocal rap evaluation, and they put PH1 in rap dance. Except we still don't see PH1. I think we see more Bobby on the show than we ever see PH1.
Yes. Also, the rap dance, which was, not Law. Shit.
No, it is Law. Rap.
It is Law?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rap Dance, which is Law, has no rapping in it.
No, I think Camden does, like, half a rap verse, and Eugen does a thing that is questionably or even a rap. He just says some words, really.
Questionable.
Yeah. What's the other? And then Gang's the other one.
Yeah, and then Gang is, like, a comedy song at this point. So we wrote notes about, we're gonna go through each of these songs individually. All we wrote for Home was High-Pitched Hell.
Yep.
Was that from the
that
show?
Was
that
from Peak. That was a term that
was from Peak
someone said on Peak Time once, and it was a really fun term.
Because they used it to describe the fact that they were doing a song that was way out of their vocal range as a high-pitched hell, and it's gonna sound like a high-pitched hell, and they were correct.
Yes. It's like, and this song has, like, Seungun's in this song, who is the one Korean Yehua kid who was around.
Seungun, honestly speaking, carried Aju Nice.
Yep.
And tried to carry Home, but weirdly, Home is even harder to sing.
Even harder.
Than Aju Nice.
It's so hard.
I don't know why they keep insisting on singing 17
and it's
songs
not even
when
like
they
they
know
have
it's a
bad
idea.
vocals, because Seungun's song Jay is also in this song.
Which is good.
And they're both good,
All
but this
good
song
people.
is just so, like, terrible to cover.
It's just a bad idea.
It's a bad idea to cover it, and then it's like the choreography is also
Non-existent.
very hard. Yeah. And it's like, if we were focusing on doing Home as only a vocal song, it probably would have been better, but because they're also doing, like, very intense choreography simultaneously, it's like,
they're
not
trying
happening.
Essentially to just cover Home directly.
Yeah.
And that
was a mistake.
That's impossible. Also, the fact that, like, whenever you're doing 17 choreo, you have to remember one thing, and I think a lot of people forget. 17 is 13 people. They are, like, that gives whoever's singing, depending on who it is, obviously, they do very much focus on people, but usually either they are standing still, and they have more breaks to not dance that choreo.
Yep.
Because there's 13 people to sing the song. It's wild. So then we have Zoom. Zoom is the GOAT. Zoom's amazing.
Zoom is
maybe the best
cover
performance
on this
of the show.
It's so good.
Amazing.
Yep.
Kaita is just creating a winning team.
Although they don't win, but he
doesn't win, but he wins in my heart every time.
Win in my heart.
He wins in my heart. This is when we coined the phrase Ollie and his Dr. Seuss rapping.
Yes, because he raps like he's Dr. Seuss. Like his rapping is so
he's rapping like he is reading a Dr. Seuss book. He enunciates every word.
Yes.
I hear all of them. He also does refer to himself as Ollie Wonka on multiple occasions. No, that's not Dr. Seuss book, but also it does work out.
It's very cute.
It's amazing. Also, is his birth name Oliver? Is that real?
Is his birth name Oliver? Who's to say?
Is
we
that
may
his
never
birth
know
name?
for sure.
I want to know. I realize I need to know, because also
we just
realized
that we do not know anything about Ollie.
No, we can't find any information.
No.
Why does he speak English so well? Because also we just saw that TikTok video that is maybe a child Ollie and his mom.
Yes, I think he was a child model.
Child model,
but like,
which is like a big thing in China.
Yeah.
But like, is it him? I don't know.
Yep. I don't know. No
Would
idea.
it be adorable if it was him? Absolutely.
So cute.
Oh, I love him. Love Ollie.
He's great. Also,
Zoom is just so fun.
Wumuti goes like viral on TikTok because of the Wumuti TT video.
Oh, it's so good. Kites is wearing the little New Jeans hat.
Yeah.
I love it.
Haruto is like living his best life in this performance.
Oh my god. Haruto does a flip and he lands it.
Yes, he does. Like with ease.
Oh, it's the best half of these people have. Like, it's the best performance of this show that's a cover by a mile. I love it. I still watch it on the regular.
Yes.
It made me like the song Zoom more. The same way Sheep made me kind of like Lay Sheep.
Yes, exactly.
This made me like Jessie Zoom a lot more.
Absolutely.
They're just so good. Ugh. And then there's that other kid who's also here and does
who
fine.
they make the center, who doesn't really have much of an impact in comparison to everybody else, but he's fine and he's having fun too.
Hey, you need a filler member to like balance it out with like all of these star-making performances. Also, I just love hearing Ollie just go with a very enunciated like, okay.
It's so cute.
All right.
He's adorable. Oh,
okay.
All right.
I also love the transition between Kaita doing actually pretty good idol rap.
Yes, and then
so whatever the hell
Ollie just in full English reading out of a Dr. Seuss book.
Yo, what? The outer space. It's so pronounced, and I love every second of it. It's so good. Ugh. That performance, I cannot praise that performance enough.
That is
Go
so
watch
amazing.
it. It will bring
so
a smile to your face. It is by far the best performance of that
this whole round, if not the show. Like, it's so so good.
I mean, the only thing that kind of, like, I would put up there with it is maybe one of the finale songs.
Yeah, like Jelly Pop is very good. But
like Jelly Pop?
Yeah. But
like Jelly Pop is Hui
I
in
know,
it,
that's
so
the thing. It's like Hui's in it, so knock down a little bit.
So I think I do think that Zoom is the best performance of this whole show.
The winner. It's so good.
Ugh, it's so amazing. So Tomboy is a love song with 2 third wheels.
Yes, yes.
They're in love.
This is a Hui's eternal third wheel. Always.
And then also Gunwook is here. Oh, doing more. Gunwook doing pretty well.
Also, the entire like package we get before Tomboy, we do not see Gunwook, we do not see Hui.
No.
This is the Zhang Hao Halbin love story.
Background. They are in the background. They are incidental to this performance.
Absolutely. It's a love song with 2 third wheels, if you will. The entire song.
Truly looking at it, it is all, like, the package you get before, because we don't really talk about the packages, but the packages before this song are entirely about how, like, Hanbin has no confidence, and then they're like, oh, we're just, like, he goes to Zhang Hao for comfort.
Because Hanbin at this point has been first place for the entirety of this show so far. And he has, like, the weight of the world on his shoulder. And he was like, do I actually deserve this or not? Because I feel like I don't deserve this.
And then he also is seeing, like, Zhang Hao, and he's like, well, you're so good. And it's like, oh my god.
And then they just, like, they have a lot of comfort. They just have, they're so cute.
And also, this is where we begin to see that in the background, they have decided to hold hands.
Yeah, always.
For the rest of the show.
Like, also hold each other's thighs as well, which, like, it's really...
There's, like, a death grip on those hands. Like, they don't, like, it is every time,
just, like,
even in the
dating
background.
out in the open at this point.
It's amazing. Also, is this where the massage happens?
It's a weird massage that feels like it's weird to be watching. Yeah, it's like, I feel like this is a moment I should not be seeing.
Yes. So, in, like, a moment of, like, I don't know, Hanbin's at his lowest. Zhang Hao just comes into his room, which someone has told me that it's Hui, because there's 3 beds. The middle bed is empty, but the bed on the side seems to have a person in it. Someone told me that that's Hui.
Yep.
And I'm like, that seems correct that it would be Hui. So Hui is just, mind you, Hui is sleeping in this bed, and Zhang Hao just, like, gives Hanbin, like, a back massage, but not even, like Hanbin's laying down, like, it's like a whole thing.
I feel like I shouldn't be watching this right now. Like, this is a very intimate moment that I don't think I should be seeing.
This feels like one of those moments. You ever see those, like, Big Brother, like, night cams where they're like, you just get the subtitles and everything's dark and you're like, why, what are they doing? There's more light there. You can see what they're doing, but I'm just like, this feels too intimate.
It also feels
Why
like
am I in their room?
It also feels like they shouldn't have aired this on television. Like,
no,
it feels like
private.
A very like emotionally vulnerable moment for both of them, and I feel like I shouldn't have seen that.
It feels like it was personal.
Yes.
Like, not in any, but even in, like, not any kind of, like, romantic
right,
way, just in, like a vulnerability way.
I'm like, I don't think I should have watched that. Like, why is this here?
Absolutely not. Also, Bobby says the words to Gunwook, "You are ready to debut." He does not say the words, "You are a good rapper."
Exactly.
Just pointing it out there that those two things don't mean the same thing.
Been misinterpreted by a lot of people on the internet as those mean the same thing. They do not. So
they do not. They never have, and they never will.
Uh-huh.
Oh God. So now we get to feel special.
Oh man, it makes me sad. I hate thinking about this.
This is
performance.
Woongi being robbed and disrespected
Absolutely.
at the same time.
Not a single person in this group is giving him anything to work with.
No.
Like, he is the leader and he is
Absolutely
the
not.
killing part, because no one
Absolutely
else
not.
is wanting to do anything, because they're
He
such
sings-
low ranks. They all are essentially convinced they're getting eliminated next round anyway.
And also, they are like, well, they also, this was also one where we're like, oh, high-pitched hell, because they're trying to sing a Twice song.
Yeah.
For some reason, because, okay, so this is the thing I don't understand. In Tomboy, they make it a note of, like, we are pitching the song down, like, 2 octaves. Which is fine. Because their they can't hit the notes.
Yeah.
Why does it seem like they are not allowed to do the same with Feel Special?
They do eventually.
Why
They
do
do
they make it
eventually,
seem-
but
they do
they
eventually,
practice
but they
so
make it-
long with not pitching it down anymore. So it's like, why?
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 Why was it not pitched down to start with?
Yes.
You know none of these kids are going to hit those notes.
Yes.
Because they're not a girl group who inherently
Wild.
are singing high. It's wild to me that it was not pitched down from the beginning.
And
then-
also, it's like, these kids are they're convinced they just don't want to be here and they're going to get eliminated. And I refuse to accept this behavior out of people when Lelouch was held hostage on a show and still put in effort because he didn't want to drag down everyone else who was there and wanting to be on the
If
show.
Lelouch can put in effort and be like, well, I am very untalented.
Yes.
I know I'm untalented.
But I can't
I'm
just
gonna
not
practice.
try. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't just be a body.
Right.
Woongi out here having to sing both choruses and half of the verses by himself.
This is a Woongi solo stage.
And then for some reason they're when they're getting evaluated, they're like, you haven't changed the choreo at all. When were they supposed to change? Like, half these groups don't seem like they changed the choreo at all.
So Woongi then has to choreograph this whole song before, because he's not choreographed before, but no one else has or
Wants
is
to
willing.
try.
So Woongi's like, I'll take care of it. I got it, I guess.
No one even wants to seem like they want to help him.
No,
which
because
they don't help him at all.
Because freaking Zhang Shuaibo isn't here, and people, this is the person I'm like, I really don't like him, and people are like, it's all the edit. This man,
It's
literally,
not the edit.
it's not, because he gave up the entire main vocal part to Woongi, and no matter what else happened in the show, that still happened. Like, he still refused to sing in this song. And made
if you
Woongi
watch
do
the
all of it.
performance,
Like, that happened.
If you watch the performance, everybody else kind of comes around and does some singing. I am not positive that he sings a single line in the song.
He sings like
at all.
I think
he
like
sings maybe
8
bit
lines
because
total
he has
the whole
to.
song, yeah. Like,
But
not
like
a lot.
he does not look. But even when he does not want to be there. It's
And then
the
he
thing,
wins,
gave
and then he
up.
wins. He wins the song because he's a visual, and it's really
Because he's the visual,
really
and also
upsetting to watch.
they didn't play the package to the audience
No.
because the only people voting at this point is the audience.
Yeah.
We'll say we'll get to it, but like we'll say he does pass because the problem is this aired the second week
Yes.
because the round aired 2 weeks and then the voting closed 8 hours after 8 hours
It's
Yeah.
close to 8 hours
8-ish
after this episode
after
finished
the
airing.
episode finished airing, which meant that essentially the votes were locked because you can only vote once a day. And really, if you've been voting this whole time, you're gonna miss one vote from
Right.
somebody?
Yeah.
It's kind of felt like they put the
He
correct word here.
absolutely would not have made it through that round if
Oh,
they aired this
absolutely
the
not.
first week. Like, he only made it through because he had
Absolutely
a
not.
lot of people who already voted for him. Because next elimination, he comes in last place. Because people know after that point.
People just did not, like, people were like, I'm done with him.
Like, it's just so rude. And then, like, the Feel Special team also had to get, like, additional coaching because the judges were like, you're not ready to perform this.
No, not at all.
And then they're all like, Woongi is out here doing the whole thing because he is.
And here's the thing. When you watch the, like, reactions to that performance, everyone is like, oh, Woongi, he's so good.
He's trying.
The only
he's trying
person
so hard.
that they talk about is Woongi. Like, you see, and then when it shows up that Woongi doesn't win, everyone's like, they don't even really congratulate Schweibo.
I know.
They just sort of keep going with the episode.
Yeah.
Everyone just is like, okay, that happened, and no one wants to acknowledge anything.
Yep.
Then we get Rush Hour. Rush Hour is like, it feels like Backdoor Part 2.
It is. Because they're trying so hard to evil edit Ricky. Like, they're trying so hard, but Ricky is giving them nothing. Like, Ricky is like, you absolutely will not get anything from me.
Because, like, Rush Hour is also kind of a song for, like, the... Not rejects, but, like, a bunch of the
this is like mid-rank, and then people who got kicked out of songs.
And then people get kicked,
Hour.
Yeah. Because Ricky ends up in there only because he then gets, kicked out by someone who is... Yeah, who is even higher ranked than he is. Jerome's having a mental breakdown because he's also trying to, like, wrangle all this together because it's, like, the weirdest assortment of people because it's, like, Jerome and Ricky, which is fine for Rush Hour, because then you get Hiruto, which is okay. Then you get Takuto, and I'm like, why is
in here? And it's like, why are you doing here? It feels like
a weird assortment of people.
Yeah.
It feels like a bunch of very different energies.
Yep. And it's like, we're also having, like, a big communication breakdown here, because Jerome's the only Korean. Ricky, and Jigjang are, like, they speak Mandarin, and then you have Hiruto and Takuto who speak Japanese, and it's like, this is, like, we're having a communication
even more of
breakdown.
A communication issue than Backdoor. So then we get, look. Why are we doing this song? Because Jay and Camden already did it this season.
We already auditioned with it, and we're gonna do it again.
On the
same show.
The same season. It's ridiculous. It's an interest. I mean, I do think Jay and Camden did it better.
Yes.
Especially if you watch the full thing where you actually get to see Camden.
If you watch the whole thing and see Camden's actual rap that he does in the song, it's very good.
Yeah. Takuto fails the backflip a second time.
Yep.
And also, this is the worst styling, because all of them look like they're going to vastly different events.
Everyone is dressed for a different event on this performance.
Like, Ricky's going to a fashion show. Jerome's in art school. Hiruto's going to his first day at college. Zhaojang is b-boying, and Takuto's going to an 8-year-old's birthday party.
It's
like vastly different events.
It's just all over the place for that. And also, this is a Ricky and Others performance. Like,
oh, absolutely. This is another Ricky and Others performance.
This is Ricky and Friends.
The second one.
Yes.
Ricky got a lot of those this season.
He did, unfortunately. Which is, I think, more unfortunate for Ricky than anything. That they're like, this is Ricky carrying, and then all of these other people are here.
I feel like Ricky very specifically was just, I am all, like, I feel like Ricky didn't want that to happen.
He didn't. I definitely don't think he would have preferred that to happen, but it's just one of the situations he was in.
Limousine happened. I didn't care. Christian continues to
smoke 2 packs a day.
He's up to 2 packs this round.
I just feel real bad for Anthony.
So much better.
Anthony really no screen time on this show.
No,
we do not see.
Anthony only got screen time when he was next to Haruto, but that's because Haruto kept getting screen time.
And it's like he is just not present here, and it's like I don't know. It's like something about the Mnet people, they didn't like him or want him here. So
yeah. I think it's because him and Haruto have very similar energy, and Haruto is just so much more.
That all of it went to Haruto instead.
They were like, I'm like, we can show Anthony, or we can just show more Haruto.
Yeah.
Between Haruto and Woongi, I think you have very similar energies. And, like, So-on works so well with Woongi, especially.
And then Anthony just kind of got left behind.
Anthony got lost by the wayside.
It was very sad for him.
Yeah. Love Killa is the second, another one that just keeps getting the second cover. They kept having this issue of Ji-woong not being able to speak English and not being able to do the line, which I don't know why they didn't give that line very specifically to Matthew.
Because the line is, I'm sorry, did I make you anxious? Which is like, he does not do a great job of pronouncing that.
The problem is anxious.
Anxious is not an easy word. It's not an easy word to pronounce, even in English.
I don't even think Monsta X does it great.
No.
Because...
And I'm like, and it seems like they can split the lines of this however they want. And it's like, so I feel like they should have just left Jewin the killing part, but they just should have given that line specifically to Matthew. Like, why didn't we do that?
Because
the person in the team who speaks English, like...
Because it's not like we're getting to the point where, like, especially in the original songs, where, like, you get the part you get and you have to do the part that's given.
Yeah.
This seems a lot more flexible.
Clearly because we saw Woongi sing the whole song.
Because Woongi was able to, like, pick and choose lines for people and sing the rest of it.
Yep.
I don't know why they didn't just do that. It was kind of boring.
This was supposed to be
to win.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like one of the big like performances because this is an entirely like top 9 plus So On, and So On is already also ranked pretty high. It's like
and So On at least has the Woongi connection. I love So On.
So On is ranked like 17th or 19th, which is like still pretty good, but.
Especially at this point in the show, it's very good.
And so it's like, this was, I think, a lot of people had anticipation about it, but it was it was pretty boring, honestly.
It was kind of boring.
Not a lot going on here.
Gyuvin continues his streak of winning every performance he's in, and I don't understand
Gyuvin continues to do the bare minimum and win every performance for some reason.
Which is not a problem. Like, my issue with Gyuvin is not so much Gyuvin. It continues to be a problem of, like, I don't hate Gyuvin, I hate the people around Gyuvin. It's the same Yujin problem.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, why is Gyuvin continuously being rewarded so much for doing the bare minimum? Doing the least possible. Law happens.
It happens. And that wins the dance rap, which would have preferred it to be Zoom. I think Zoom comes in second place to it, but
Zoom is so good. But Zoom doesn't have any of the top 9 kids in it, which is why it wasn't good. Except for Kaita.
But Law has Yujin.
Kaita's on the outs anyway, because Kaita.
The Koreans don't like Kaita.
The Koreans do not. Also, this is where we all start hearing the rumors the Koreans don't like Kaita because he's short, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Short king. We love a short king. Also, Kaita's not even, like, exceptionally shorter than a lot of extremely popular Korean trainees, like every member of Stray Kids and Woozi. Like, he's not, like, tiny in comparison to them.
Yep.
Like, he's about on par with, like, the normal short K-pop idols.
Yep.
I don't understand it. I think it's racism. Kaita continuously was the person with the most international votes and, like, the lowest Korean votes. At one point, we're talking, like, over, like, close to 2 million...
2 million global
international votes.
And, like, under, like,
66,000.
Yeah, under 100K
like, 66,000 Korean votes. It's ridiculous.
Wild.
It was insane. You know that it's insane what happens to Kaita.
Yeah.
Love, not Spring Love or Cherry Blossoms, a song I can't say and can't remember for the life of me every time.
Also a very confusing song to cover in the year 2023.
Yeah. Very weird. A lot of these seemed like very weird songs to cover in 2023. Yep. I was so bored, and they did their best, and it was fine.
The anti-Avengers, if you will, that team.
Yeah. About there.
Because it's Lee Dao, it's Doha, and it's Ichan, who came in like absolutely last place in this elimination. Yeah. So,
and it has the 2 people that people actively are trying to stop.
The 2 people that the entire fandom are actively sabotaging right now. So
because they're too scared that they're gonna make it too far, and I'm like,
damn.
No, it's fine. They'll be fine. They'll go eventually.
Yep.
Then we had Butterfly. It was fine. It was... I don't know.
They keep getting told they're too sexy, which is very funny.
I don't know how you do that song sexy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you make that song sexy.
There are other performances here that are just, like, they happen. Like, Man in Love gets covered in this round, and that's
we forgot about Man in Love. Terry, it's one of Terry's, star-making performances.
Yep. But it's fine. That's where Terry really gets to shine.
And I think that's the only one we didn't actually cover in here.
Love, yeah.
I'm like, where does Man in Love fit in
there's
here?
another one here because we don't have enough performances.
Yeah. All right, we got there. So the second elimination, at this point, essentially, they announce that before the votes are counted up to that point. They don't actually announce the final votes.
Yeah, this weird second Survivor announcement is not even as official as the first one because they haven't finished tallying. They air it before they're done tallying votes. They aired this one, like, I think 3 hours or something before votes are closed.
Yeah, which I think was just a way to make people have a like, this is just to incite panic voting.
Yes. Also, incites a panic attack from Woongi on live television.
Yeah, because Woongi is shown as a contender for 28th place. 28th place is the lowest place that will be passing on.
Yeah.
And Woongi begins to have a panic attack on live television, and I feel the worst I've ever felt.
I feel so bad.
There's a lot of moments on this show that I'm like, why did this air?
It's awful. And then they replay it when the actual edit, and I'm like, we did not need to see Woongi have a panic attack again. Like, we didn't need to see that.
Because also, why did they have? Because essentially, that means that when they were shooting this, they had these kids get all dressed up in their like schoolboy attire to go do the voting reveal.
Yeah.
Did this
had to sit
and then
there
sent
for 3 hours
home.
and then come back, like,
or like they broke for lunch and we're like, okay, we're done for all right, and cut. Woongi, get him some tissues, redo the makeup. All right, go to lunch, everybody. We'll be back in 3 hours.
Just like, what's happening?
Like, what the fuck was that?
Awful.
All right,
it's an awful thing to air on television twice.
Absolutely. So we do Sports Day. Yay!
Hooray,
they brought back Kwan-hee to MC. Got no screen time on the show, but now he gets to MC because he left. He left his own accord.
Yep, and then he comes back and he is getting more screen time now than he has ever had when he was actually on the show.
That becomes another theme on this show.
Yep. That's gonna happen to multiple people getting more screen time once they're eliminated from the show.
All right, we have a lot of like, this is a great Sports Day. One, Woongi out here living his best gay life.
His best gay life.
Woongi is living that life.
Absolutely.
They do have certain members. I think they do it by team. They have them put on wigs and, you know, do that whole thing. Camden literally snatched a wig.
Yes.
And that is the most appropriate thing for this show, is Camden literally snatching a wig off of someone's head. He knows what that means.
Yes, he did.
He did it on purpose.
He did it.
I love it.
Snatched. Junhyun bullies a child, which is Takuto, the entire Sports Day, which is just funny to watch, but also kind of mean.
And also, this is also where we begin. We've known about Junhyun in the periphery for a while now. Especially in that gang performance.
Yeah, because he is trying to turn that gang performance into a comedy performance. But it's not. It's like it is for a hot second, but it's not.
It is for 1 second.
It's not for the whole time.
I think he is doing his best with what the material given to him, because I think he knows it's not a good song. So he's like, "What can I latch onto here?" It's like, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I make it a comedy because I'm loud as hell.
Right, and I can't do an ab reveal, so I'll wear a shirt.
I don't have
I'll wear
any
a
under
fake
there.
ab shirt, and I'll do that instead.
I mean, it is kind of funny. I thought it was okay.
It's
For
fine.
what it was, I think it works.
Yes.
And also the fact that it was gang specifically, I was more okay with.
Because
like, he didn't try to do that in, like, Law.
Right, gang is already kind of a joke of a song, so
yeah,
it's fine.
We have a theory that this is where Ollie broke his hand.
Yes.
Or probably sprained his hand, because we find out that, like, by the time they're actually performing the original songs, he's out of the cast.
Yeah, but he just randomly appears with a cast at some point during this elimination episode.
And he doesn't have it at the beginning of Sports Day, so in my mind, because they do not air a part of Sports Day where people have to, like, physically drag people.
It's the best part of Sports Day, and it
sounds amazing.
They show a preview of it on YouTube where it's literally just people getting thrown, like people getting dragged and thrown around.
Specifically getting thrown by Jiwon.
Yes.
Who's amazing, and I love it.
And I think that's where Ollie probably broke his hand or sprained his hand.
And also that feels like the correct. I'm honestly shocked the show had enough restraint to not air that on television. To not air him
breaking his hand, yeah.
Because they aired a panic attack and a weirdly vulnerable, intimate moment.
Yes.
Breaking a hand seems on par with everything else we've seen.
That's apparently where they draw the line, is breaking a hand.
Actual physical harm. That, appropriate.
There's all
really?
Yeah,
I was
bad
like,
phone
product placement.
Yeah.
What is that? I was trying to remember what that meant.
When they win, whatever team wins, they get a phone, like one of those really shitty flip phones, like those screen flip phones, and they play Genshin Impact on it.
It's specifically like a Genshin Impact themed phone.
Yeah, it's pretty bad product placement.
It was weird product placement, considering that we watched some of it first before we had subtitles, and we're like, is it for the mobile game? No, it's for the phone that they're playing it on. That's what it is.
Yep.
So then we get the produce camp tour.
Yep.
One of my favorite moments ever,
Moongi
because
and
it's
So-won
just
are the most iconic
on
duo imaginable. They're
running around.
fantastic.
Also, mind you, at this point we have also gotten the original songs like
Oh yeah,
announced.
that's why that's what the teams they're in for sports days.
Yeah.
They're an original songs team,
and it's that other BS produce thing they always do, which is like divide everybody into
we're gonna
what
divide
song
everyone
that they were
into
voted
songs
into
before elimination.
before we
and then we're gonna
eliminate,
reshuffle
and then
after elimination.
So everyone's already practicing. So while they're practicing, Moongi and So-won go around. They yassify Taeri.
This is the
they yassify Park
yassification
Hanbin.
of Taeri happens.
Mind you, Taeri by this point has become an icon in Korea for looking like a nerd, which is not how I think Wake1 wanted to be represented on this show. But
that's
love Taeri.
That's where he's at.
Love
and
the
honestly
yassification
thriving
of Taeri.
being a nerd, and also the yassification.
I think it's actually quite charming.
It's cute.
I think
it's
Taeri is
fun.
very charming. And then we get to the actual elimination. This is the first time we've been sad because we did not care about the first elimination.
Yep.
As really kind of nobody does, because who are these kids and
There's
why do I
far
care?
Too many kids, yeah.
So we care because bye Anthony and bye Wumuti. So then we go on to this is where we put the lovely little side tangent of random TikToks of things outside the show we found. Because for 3 months my entire TikTok feed was this show.
Everything I was consuming outside of Boys Planet was more Boys Planet. Like, so there's so much of it.
Especially by this point with the original songs, it was Boys Planet. It was like different. It was like people reacting to Boys Planet. It was people finding videos of like pre-Boys Planet things these people did.
Yes.
Like it was Call Me Mother.
Yes.
It was Wumuti. It was Camden's dad. Oh, Camden's dad.
It's a whole thing.
So Camden's father has a very active Twitter. Which makes me I usually do not try to speculate on these people's home lives. I don't care. But Camden's dad has forced me to think of it.
I know, because there's truly so much going on with the Camden's dad situation.
So Camden's dad begins similar to how like Matthew's sister's going, which is like, my son. This is my son.
And it's very
Look at my son doing so well.
At first, because he's also like defending Jay from people who hate him. Where he's like, please, please don't bully a kid you don't know. Like it's like very nice at first.
And also, please don't bully a kid for just being foreign and being mixed various ethnicities. Like, that's good.
And then we take a turn, like, immediately. Like, one day later, we take a turn.
And then at some point, he starts calling Hui old.
Yes.
Which is not the problem
Not a problem
Hui.
I have, but, you know.
Not the problem I have with Hui. The problem I have with Hui is very different.
But he starts having, like Twitter lives,
fights.
And he's getting into fights with teenagers and just, like, truly just saying stuff without really thinking about it.
And truly, we'll get to Camden's reaction in a little bit, but it's a
Camden
lot.
calls him in the middle of one of these lives and was like, you need to
please
stop. Like, please stop doing this.
Please stop doing this. It's not, like, I don't want you to do this. Which now makes me think of, like, his family situation, because his father seems to be here. And from my impression, Mom and Cade, his twin, are in Korea.
Yes.
So, like, what is going on?
Wild.
I am now being forced to think about something that I have no interest in, nor is it any of my business. But, like, have you kind of made it my business a little bit? You're airing your dirty laundry out on Twitter.
That's how his dad is just, like, it's very much giving, like, Mark Chuan's dad, where it's, like, at some point we've crossed a line and it's too much.
Yeah. At one point, you've gone too into with these fans. And, like, you gotta,
like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, you don't need to be arguing with teenagers. Like, it's not it.
You have, like, Camden's not even, like, one of the youngest kids on the show. Camden's in his, like, 22.
Yeah.
You have two, because Camden's a twin. You have two 22-year-old sons. Like, you know better.
Like, please, for the love of God, you can't.
Please
You gotta stop.
We also have that very we have this here for Hiruto, but also I've seen various fan bases, especially around the finale, do it, where they're just giving out prizes or like raffles for voting.
If you
for
vote
them.
for someone, you put in a raffle to win prizes.
And I also saw that around the finale for like
Jay and Matthew.
For Matthew, for Zhang
there were like NSFW accounts coming out of the woodwork. Or like if you vote for Matthew, you get like free pictures
you
or
can get a video.
I'm like, okay.
Of them, not of
them,
Matthew, by the way. Of the person running the NSFW account. And then it's like, you can win, like the new edition iPhones.
Yeah, Hiruto's were, like, big prizes.
One of the Hiruto ones was a trip to
3-day trip to Osaka. Like,
which again, what the, like, game, like an it was like an Xbox. Like, there's, like, so much that you could win.
I know.
I didn't enter any of these raffles, but I kind of feel like I should have.
They are very enticing. Where it's like, this is how it is. It's like we can't. It's like kind of rigging, but not really.
But not, because it's not produce.
It's not
rigging
produce.
It's
like
the
fan base.
Like, look, here's the thing. If you know, Matthew was offering to pay me different.
Right.
This random stranger on the internet's offering to pay me? Maybe.
Also, people are buying Times Square ads to advertise people,
oh
and that's
God.
Also insane to think about.
So much Times Square ad space was dedicated to produce. Yes.
Mnet also releasing like an insane amount of content like on YouTube outside of the show. Yeah. And that started essentially
that never aired.
It's just like extra stuff. And I think that's as an incentive to get people to not switch to watching boys fantasy or fantasy boys or whatever.
Which again, trust me when I tell you this, I did not need incentive. I was not gonna stop.
Nobody who is this far into this show at this point is gonna just decide to switch to fantasy boys all of a sudden.
Also, they can watch both. We've been watching both. Yes.
You can watch both.
Infinitely
also,
more fun with one of them.
It's like if you're this invested into the show, why would you just stop all of a sudden? Like,
oh yeah, like you've already stopped for other reasons, and the reason was not boys fantasy.
Yeah.
Again, I truly think that the main problem is people having to get enticed to watch boys fantasy.
Yep.
And stop watching Boys Planet, because one of these shows is infinitely better, and one of these shows has K-Soul. There's also just. Like, there's, like, bracket filters.
On TikTok,
like, there's just, on TikTok, there's just, like, different, like, filters of just, there's, like, a bracket, there's, like, a random generator of Boys Planet members that you can just use for whatever your heart desires. Like, it's a lot.
A lot of stuff.
It was a good time. I was tempted to make my first TikTok
I was tempted to make a bracket filter, but one of them was kind of broken, and then so I didn't.
Yeah, and then it never really got fixed. Yeah. I kept getting pink squares.
Oh,
Ollie had a birthday party.
Ollie has a birthday party. It's very fun.
Outside of the show. Yes. Like, this is just in a little cafe. The Yehua kids are there. And also, about what seems like 30 people.
Very confusing.
With phones.
Yeah. Who is there and how they found out about the birthday party.
I don't know, but he looked so sweet. And also, Ollie's the cutest person on the show.
Also, with his broken hand.
His little broken hand was also cute. Oh, Mnet. Oh, the Mnet app.
Yeah, so the Mnet Plus app, when it has all of its, like, little bios of people with their specialties and hobbies, feels like it was written by an AI.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't even feel like it was, like, bad translations of what they wrote.
Some of this
stuff... It feels like it was just written...
It just does not make sense at all.
Yeah, it was a very weird time when we were reading through that. The boys visited their own ads.
Yep,
that was cute. They're having a good time there. They were allowed out for a little bit, which was good.
Yes.
Ji-woong was in a Holland video, which I don't know when he shot. Was this before Boys? Were they just banking that he'd do well on Boys Planet?
I don't know when he shot it. He's also barely in that music video. It's like he's in the thumbnail, but he's like barely in the music thumbnail. Yeah, he's barely in the music video.
No. It's fine. We also get many resurfaced Hanbin clips from his, like, dance crew era. And he does do a High School Musical 3 song.
And I love that for him. He makes him even more iconic that he was
it's amazing.
High School Musical 3.
There's so many of them.
Yes.
Oh, so yes. We did. This is also the point where we did go through and watch every Pick Me.
Yes.
From every season, from every country.
Yes.
Including the ones that are just yogurt commercials.
Yes.
And we found everyone.
We found all of the boys that we know.
Also, we found out that Woongi could have, like, Anthony, because, okay, So when Woongi and Jerome and Minsu and
Jihoon earlier. Jihoon, I think
3 days earlier.
Jihoon was his own little thing.
His own little thing. When they all left too, they were replaced by 3 people.
I think only 2.
2 people. Both of those people were from Produce Japan Season 2. In theory, Anthony could have replaced Woongi in TO1.
Yes.
So could Haruto.
Either of them could have been Woongi's replacement.
No, Haruto was not on Produce Season 2, but
he is, like, Japanese. And I think they were looking specifically for 2 Japanese people for I don't know what reason.
I don't know. But Anthony, in theory, could have been a replacement for Woongi in TO1.
But
that would have been so
in theory,
weird.
yes, but in theory also no, because I think that Anthony and Haruto have the same energy as Woongi, and I think Woongi was kicked for having the energy that Woongi has.
For having the energy he has, fair enough. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, in theory, if they could have crushed Anthony's spirit enough, they could have replaced Woongi with him.
Yes.
Wild times. So then we got to round 3. We're going through the
original songs.
This is the original songs rounds. Okay. So there's 5 songs.
Yes.
One of them is cute. All of the cute boys got kicked out of the cute song. Say My Name has none of the cute boys in it.
They kicked out the cutest boys into the least cute song because all of those cute boys ended up in Supercharger.
Because Supercharger team ends up with Haruto by himself.
Yep. Because all of his teammates are gone. All his teammates are gone.
It's so wild.
And then he gets Wang Zihao from another team. But then he also gets Ollie. He gets Takuto.
He gets So-on. He gets Woongi.
It's just...
He gets just...
And then it's just like all of those cute boys got kicked out of the cutest song.
The energy does not match.
No, that's where Ollie pulls his full Justin, where he went from cute to being not cute anymore.
Yeah. Also, this is also, he's out of the cast by this point, so he's back to being good.
Yes.
So, there's also weird Matthew Hanbin stuff going on. They're trying to evil edit Matthew right now
it's
because they're sort of making a fight that's not a fight.
At this point, I think the show decided they don't like Matthew or for some reason. And so they're evil editing Matthew, and it's just weird.
Even though everything about, like, the things that, like, there's, in the beginning you have the things that we called fights that are people being terrible people.
Yeah.
This Matthew thing does feel like evil editing, because I just feel like they're editing out so much context, because what we're left with doesn't make sense. The entire situation just doesn't actually, like, I feel like they're editing so much context out of it, because the conversation that's being told to me is just words.
Yes.
And there's no, like, I feel like they're just cutting out phrases.
Yes.
That add so much context. It's weird. It's a very weird conversation you're left with. Sports day or first or family time?
Sports day happens first, I think.
Oh yeah,
Again,
so sports day.
It's like third sports day, really. At this point,
there's a lot of sports days, and I'm okay with it. Yeah, there'll be more. There's more. There's also like camping sports day. This is where we find out Ricky is a natural blonde because Ricky is a natural blonde. Do not look at the baby photo.
Ricky very embarrassed with that childhood photo of him.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
because it was before he grew into his blonde hair.
Yes. Ricky also just gonna throw candy into Jay's mouth, and
be weirdly
very good at it for some reason.
Both of them be very, like, for some reason it does not surprise me that Jay is very good at that. That feels like the most
it's a very American, like, pastime.
To be able to just throw food into your own mouth. Yep. That does not surprise me at all. Also, by this point, we have seen Wumuti again, like, twice.
Because Wumuti's here to watch the original songs. We also talk about Wumuti in Sports Day, for some reason.
We do. I don't know why he keeps getting brought up.
Yep.
But everyone misses him.
We all miss him.
Great. So now we get to Family Day. Love Family Day.
Yes.
Family Day was such a good time.
It was.
So Kaita's dad just looks like, Cho Sung-hoon. Identical.
Identical, man.
Identical. You could tell me his dad was Cho Sung-hoon, and I'd be like, yes.
I would believe it. And his dad literally is identical.
Identical.
To Sung-hoon.
Can he go on to the second season of Physical 100?
That would be fun for him.
Because I feel like he could do it.
He could.
He's got the same physique too. It's not even just the face; it's the same physique.
Yep.
It's the same hair. the same tan?
Literally the same person. On?
It's the same man. Weird, right?
Very weird. It's uncanny.
The show acknowledges it too. It is. The show is like, your dad just, it's like, yeah, no, that's like a
that's
thing.
Him. Like, that's Chu Sung-hoon.
Like, that's just Chu Sung-hoon. It's fine, but why? Yuvin's hosting. Why? I don't know. I feel like they rotate who hosts things because I don't think any of them are like natural hosts here. Camden has a twin brother, Cade. When I say identical twins, carbon copy twins.
Identical. They are the same person.
Really are. They look like, I'm like, Camden, why'd you move?
Yep.
Why are you sitting in the audience, Camden?
I also just love how
same energy.
Awkward the two of them are. Like, Camden is like
Cade is somehow
one of the most awkward people imaginable, and Cade is even more awkward than him.
It's amazing. This is where we did start thinking about their family situation because Dad's not here,
but Mom is here with Cade, so it's like, what's going on with the family situation?
And like,
Camden?
Mom seems super supportive. What's the family situation, Camden? Wumutsi's here, and he's just half these kids' family because half of them are foreign, couldn't come.
Yeah, so Wumutsi is just a family member for some of these random kids, and it's like, okay.
I mean, the family members are hilarious. Dongmyeon is Hiroto's family member.
Dongmyeon of Wonwi is here for some bizarre reason.
For Hiroto, because technically they're both RBW. Like, what?
Yep. And, like, Wang Zihao just has his, like, dance teacher here or something.
Also present.
And it's, like...
It's very weird.
Some of these kids definitely don't have a family member. Like, I heard the Yehua, like, kids, like, they're Chinese kids, like, they just got, like, a manager, and that's all they got here for a family member.
Which, again, if you're gonna play this game, grab a kid from Tempest, grab Yena. Yena could have been their family member.
It's really the Dongmyeon for Hiroto, where I'm just like, this is a wild decision.
I don't know if they've ever met. I don't think so.
This is an insane decision to bring Dongmyeon of Wonwi onto the show for no reason.
A manager makes more sense than random
We're just gonna grab an RBW person, whoever is free this day.
That also happened to have been on a produce. Yes. They're like, we can't bring the One Us kids out just yet, but one we doing all the work.
Let's go.
Well, also one we doing all of the work for RBW this year because they've been doing so much for a group that's only half here.
I know, wild.
Eugene and his mom look like a K-drama family.
Yes,
it's insane.
Eugene's family is so
cute.
Pretty. Like, it's a K-drama family.
And, like, his mom is just so sweet, because, like, she's got, like, her son so cute. Like, they're so cute together. Yes. Alright, so now we're gonna go through all of some of the... Do you want to just get over weird musical
time, because we have a weird musical interlude. And when we say musical, we mean, like, musical theater interlude.
The musical theater.
Yes.
So Jokwon is here wearing 6-inch heels. Yes. Because that's the tone of the show. He's bringing the
correct vibe to the show.
Like, that is just what the show is.
Having Jokwon here as a Star Master is the correct vibe to have.
Yes. They should have Jokwon host the finale.
They should have.
Would have been better than, I mean, any of the other ones would have been better than
Minhyun was truly giving nothing for the entire finale.
Really not. Minhyun was looking, I don't think Minhyun looked up from the cue cards. But yeah, bringing the Haobin. So the way they picked, they were gonna do a scene with a partner, and everyone's just there. Everyone's having a great time.
They have to pick a partner,
and they have to pick a partner, and they're like, "Okay, go pick your partners." Hanbin and Zhang Hao are standing next to each other, and they just sort of like lean their hands out, and it's like, "Okay, we've decided." And it's like, and we're done.
Where everyone else is still kind of scrambling the Halbin, just like both reach their hands out and they're like, yes, this is it.
And we're here. It's a weird furry musical. One of them's a fox for some reason, and one of them's a person.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's also a scene between like a man and a woman, which is like, okay, that's the choice we're made.
It's like a man and like a woman fox.
Probably like a Gumio. It's probably what's like a nine-tailed fox situation going on here.
But also it does not feel like Gumio, it feels like woman fox, because it's very, like, outdoor, like, it feels very weird. It's a weird scene.
This is another thing I want.
Also, he wins, because why?
That would be embarrassing for him if he lost, if we're being honest.
Because he's actually been in
he almost, I think, lost to one of Hanbin or Zhang Hao, and that would have been embarrassing to him.
I know, that'd be amazing.
This is another thing I would like the unedited cut for, because we do not see so much of it, but it was like Ricky and Ollie. And I'm like, what on earth were Ricky and Ollie doing?
Because it's also, like, Ricky is standing over Ollie in this, like, hand on the wall, and Ollie just looking at him with these eyes of, like, a teasing younger brother, like, doop-a-doop-a-doo. Like, what's going on?
Yes.
Also, who is Jay with?
Jay's with Camden, and I'd love to see
Jay
the
and
Jay.
Camden
I
have
would love
weird
to see
energy.
the Jay Camden a musical.
Because Jay and Camden are just a time.
The Jay Camden duo is so fun together.
I would love not only the unedited musicals, I also want the unedited, like, preparations.
Yeah, that's really more so what I want, is the unedited, like, prep for the musical.
It's amazing. So now we have all of the original songs.
Yes.
Alright, look. On Guard has all of the worst boys. Because On Guard
has truly my least favorite boys all in On
all
Guard.
All of the worst boys. It has Hui. It has Gunwook. It has Gyuvin. It has other people that don't matter as much, but it has specifically
that kid,
those three.
The really obnoxious kid who I do not vibe with.
Yes. The thing with him is I don't want to bash on him too bad, because I think he works in a different group. He does not work in this group.
This show with this vibe is like, this is not where he needs to be.
He's too much.
Yeah.
Supercharger has only the cutest boys. We could have talked about Supercharger.
Supercharger, truly, I think they also got really shafted because they got like 3 days to bring that song together, and that sucked for them.
Yeah, some of these songs also got very much more shafted, because, like, no matter what happens, you're still losing half the people, like, whether or not you're going to a completely different song, or you're just, like, adapting the song to be way less people.
Yeah.
But if you have to learn a whole new song, like, you do have the short
like,
end of the
literally
stick.
all of your group except for one person has to learn a new song. Like, that's pretty bad.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, it can't be worse. Remember that one season where everybody in one song left?
Yeah, there's just no.
And then they had to, like, there wasn't even a representative. It was just, and here is the room.
And you're gonna kick out kids and they're all gonna go to this song because no one's left anymore.
Alrighty. So then, Switch is maybe the weirdest
Switch is
song.
a weird-ass song. Like, the more I listen to it, the weirder it gets. Like, it's a weird song.
I don't understand Switch that much. Like, I like it fine because I like the people in it a bunch. Like, Kaita's there, Camden's there.
Yeah.
But it's just a very odd song.
It's like, it's just a confusing song. Also, why are we wearing neon?
Neon?
And why is
also,
Camden a highlighter?
Why did we dress Camden, the tallest person in this group, in only bright pink?
Neon pink. Like...
Yes. It was a lot.
And just, like, being on TikTok where people were, like, leaking the photos from that live performance, and everyone's looking at one picture of Camden and all it looks like is pink. And we're just like, truly that can't be what he's wearing. And then that's just what he's wearing. He's wearing all pink. Full neon pink.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was very... That entire performance seemed a little, like, too much for the eyes.
Yeah, because they weren't wearing pink, they were wearing neon green. So...
Yeah, no one was wearing... The only person wearing somewhat, like, the least aggressive in-your-face person is Kaita, and that's also just because Kaita has less surface area.
Yeah.
To be that bright.
I also think Park Han-bin was less
Park
colored.
Han-bin, I think, only had, like, a puffy jacket.
Yeah, he had less
like,
of
extra.
the neon going on.
Yeah, he had a little more neutrals. Camden needed one of those, like, either the jacket or the pants.
We can't have both the jacket and the pants be bright pink.
And a hat, I think. It was a lot. It was too much. So then we get Say My Name.
Kind of boring for
little,
what it is.
Cute, but underwhelming.
Yes.
Like, there was too much hype for it.
Because that's like the top boys are all in that song. Because it's Halbin, and then it is Jiwoong, and it's Matthew. And Segun is also, and Yujin, and Segun is also there.
It's it's a nice performance, but it is just fine.
It's fine.
I'm not so excited for it.
Jiwoong also does not thrive having to be cute in a performance. Like, he is a very cute man otherwise. Like,
yeah, as an
individual,
life.
He is very cute. When he is on stage and told to be cute, like, he does not thrive doing that.
And also, very specifically, I think the problem is that it is this type of cute concept.
Yeah.
Like, there's more
Like
subtle cute
schoolboy
concepts.
cute.
The schoolboy cute concept feels like Ji-woong is their teacher.
Yeah.
And he's here for moral stuff. Like, Ji-woong also looks... He's
He looks
25. But he looks like he is 25, which in the K-pop idol world means that he looks older than he is. Because so many K-pop idols look so much younger. Like, they stop aging at 18.
Yes.
And it's like, well, they're 25. Well, Ji-woong looks 25.
It's like, I look at Ji-woong and I see Lee Dong-wook a lot of the time. And I'm like, this is just Lee Dong-wook. Like, this is what he looks like.
And it works for him, but I think the problem is when you're trying to make him a schoolboy.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yep.
So then we get to... Oh, interestingly, by the end of the Say My Name performance, Zhang Hao, who's not in this performance, has Hanbin's name tag.
Yep.
Why? What? How? When?
Yep.
Huh?
They still managed to somehow sit next to each other and just, like,
and hold
flirt
hands
in the corner the entire time.
At all times. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. They do a lot
also,
together.
Hanbin giving him his name tag, that's like a way of confessing your love in Korea, so they're in love. And we're just gonna continue that storyline as the show goes on.
Oh, always. Always. It's adorable.
And it's like,
what's going on.
So this is like...
This is purposeful.
So this is, there's an analogy I'd like to make to this that I think is relevant. Because I remember, like, the Hunger Games, which is relevant now because that was on Netflix. With the whole, because, like, the whole Katniss and Peeta thing, right?
Yes,
like, like, they're clearly doing part of that because they're on, like, television and they need to save their lives, essentially. But some of it's real, some of it's not. This is, like,
I love
similar,
that a lot.
where it's like,
this is same
we
vibes.
will never know how much of what we are seeing is real and how much of it is not. Like,
how much
there is no way for us to ever know if what we're seeing is real or not. And it's
fair.
like, honestly,
isn't that the point of reality TV?
Exactly. And it's like, I don't care how much of it is real or not.
Such good reality
because
TV.
they look like they do. Like,
they're great. Actors.
Look, if they're doing it, they're great actors. If none of it's true. I would like to believe that some of it is true. I believe that they're at least very good friends. And that's great.
In my mind, this is just an exaggeration of real life.
Yes. It's like, because at this point...
in my mind,
at this point, like, in the series, it's like they know that they're popular because of their friendship.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
There definitely is a part of this that is them doing it because they know it's what's going to get them into this final group. And that's fine.
Oh,
and it's like, and I don't care not knowing, knowing if it's real, knowing if it's not real. Like,
also, it's none of our business.
That's none of our business, and it's not important to me at all. I just like to see that they're friends and they're thriving. Like, that's all I care about.
I love the analogy. I think that's amazing. Yeah. But also, because this is the storyline of the season. This is the entire Every season has a storyline. And truly speaking, it is truly, this season of this show is one of the best. If not for just how it works, it, like, ties all of the storylines off in a neat little bow.
Absolutely.
Like, this whole storyline, you set things up at the beginning and it finishes.
And then it comes to a finish at the end, and I think that's what's so good about it, is because it's a consistent storyline that literally starts at the pick-me and ends at the finale.
And the other thing is that the voting worked with it, not against it.
Yes.
Because, like, season 2, that big storyline was, like, newest, and the rivalry of, like, Daniel and Jihoon and all of that stuff.
That didn't pay off in the finale.
The
voting did not pay it off in the finale.
Voting actually makes it worse because you don't end up with what you want. Like, this voting worked so well. Yes, you end up with heartbreak, but one, it's not the most unexpected thing. We're not seeing, like, 15-point jumps here and there.
Right.
And everything just ends up working so well and tying everything off with a bow. Not just with that storyline, but also with, like, a Matthew storyline or, like, Eugene and all of that other stuff. Like, it all worked so well.
Yes.
Ricky being the surprise of the season after everything that happened. Like, all of that worked really well. And it almost feels like if you told me this was fiction... Like, pure fiction.
This is, like,
this feels like it could be fiction.
It feels like this could be, like an actual, like, BL drama or some shit. Yeah. Like, that, you could write one about this season.
You could and it could end the same, like, really a lot of these plot points could have happened.
Yes.
Like, it's one of those, like, you know, relationships of convenience turn into real relationships type situation.
Absolutely.
Like, it has all the tropes. It works really well. You don't know what's real and what's not. Like, the show feels like really good fiction just in reality television.
Right.
And God only knows how much of it is manipulate. Like, maybe Mnet's just gotten better at their manipulation. Maybe because of, because in theory, this is the first, like, because season 1 of Produce is, like, proof of concept. It was whatever. It didn't have that many overarching storylines.
Mm-hmm.
It just was a competition show. Since Mnet really started, like, cultivating the show, this is kind of the first Produce season that has no rigging. Because season 2 was partially rigged, season 3 was rigged fully, season 4 was rigged to hell and back.
Yeah,
like,
even more.
This is, like, the first time that, like, we've gotten, like, a full season where, and we'll get to the ending, we'll get to the results, but I believe, like, from what the results were, I truly
there is
believe
absolutely no way there was rigging given the results that we got at the finale.
Given the results,
there's
like,
no way.
You would not rig these results.
Yeah.
But, like, let's finish
round 3.
Round 3. So when we get Over Me, this is Zhang Hao featuring Ricky. So Ricky's down from the main man, but he's a feature.
Yes.
It was the deserved winner. I don't particularly think any of these original songs are particularly that amazing.
No.
I like the finale songs so much more,
are better. Also, it's of note that in every male iteration of Korean Produce, the sexy song wins the concept evaluation.
And in all of the female seasons, they don't.
Yep.
Weird.
Yep. So that's just on brand for that. We're gonna continue.
Yes.
The sexy song will win.
Always. Also, I want to, before we continue, because it is also the Produce curse to have a song that they will continuously perform, like your Rumor.
Uh-huh.
What is the song of this season? Because now we also have the name of the group, which is Zero Base One, which kind of changes my opinion. Because if you told me before with the aesthetic, I would have said Say My Name.
Yeah.
But now that they're called Zero Base One, why do I feel like it's going to be On Guard?
I feel like On Guard's the best song, and I honestly would like for them to for On Guard because I think it's a good song, but I don't like the people in it. But now that all the people...
now the people are
and
different.
really just the people being Hui. Is now that Hui will not be in that song, I'll like it more.
Because the other thing is that it has to include people that are in the final group.
Yeah.
Which means that Switch
Juven,
and Supercharger
we can't
are out.
do it already, yeah.
We can't do either of them. So really that leaves you with only 3 options. Say My Name I think is too cute.
I don't want them doing Over Me with Yujin in the group. Like, no, absolutely not.
They already did Over Me with Yujin at the pajama
They did
party.
already make him do it, which I don't like that. But, you know.
Hated that.
I do like Camden and Ricky doing Say My Name because that was very funny for the two of them.
That was adorable. Yeah. But I think that On Guard is what we're going to end up with. I think On Guard is the Never. Not as good as Never, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Is anyone from Switch in the group?
No, I don't think
so.
Where's Taeri?
Taeri's in Switch, I think.
That's the only person I lost sight of in this
group.
We lose sight of Taeri
often.
We kind of lost sight of Taeri for a minute because he's not in our main characters.
We know he is around, and we are like all pretty confident he'll be in the group. But like, and I'm not mad about that because he's
I'm not mad about it.
Great,
I think we need him, and I
like
him. But here's the thing: I rookie. Taeri feels like a rookie for me, where I will love him post show.
Yes.
I know he is here.
He's here.
I like him well enough. He seems like he's a delightful person. I will learn to love you.
Yes, I just have other people
post-show.
I am more involved with while watching the show.
Also, a bunch of people I know are not making the group, and my eyes just draw to them.
Yes.
All the Supercharger, very
sad for Supercharger. We lose them. All of them.
Every single one. So we go on to the elimination. For a second, we thought we was going to get eliminated.
I know, that would have... We were so excited when we were revealing, like, 12th, 13th place, and Hui wasn't there, and we were just like, is Hui getting eliminated? And they got, like, fucking 10th, and I'm like, so excited.
We were so excited for a second.
I know.
We get Sports Day Part 3.
Yep.
So much Sports Days.
So much Sports
All
Day.
of the Sports Days. Ricky went number 8th.
Yes. Ricky's in the top 9 now.
We were like, it's a fluke.
Yes.
It's a fucking
Ricky, and
fluke.
we're just like,
what
Ricky
the
will be
fuck?
gone by the finale. Like,
Yeah.
he's here for
'Cause
now,
we're,
but
like,
he will
doing
not
the
be
math,
here later.
And we're like, he's not gonna be in the finale.
Yeah.
Like, Ricky's here for, like, the last surge of voting.
And then he'll
And
be
also,
gone
he got
later.
the over me.
He got the over me
bonus.
boost, yeah, and we're like, that's why he's in there for that alone.
And then we were, like, going into the finale, we had, like, what we thought was gonna happen.
Right.
Oh, Halbin at the top. Yes, Halbin continues their 1-2 battle.
Yes.
Camden coming in at 18.
Yes.
And then only thanked his mother.
Yeah. Also, people
Only thanked
because
Mom.
his dad is still going rogue on the internet. People thought
Only.
his dad spoiled him getting eliminated.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not true, which is nice. And people also thought Jongwoo's sister also spoiled him not being eliminated, which is true, but also it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are the family?
Like, I don't think that she spoiled it.
Yeah.
It's just an odd, like, God only... Because especially when you get down to so few people and there's only X amount of eliminated spots.
Yes.
Like, people were trying to pick out, like, so many, like, is this an Easter... Or someone spoil... People were looking for spoilers everywhere. And I'm like,
okay,
relax. It's fine.
Relax.
People were looking for spoilers, and I think it's because the rigging was sometimes so obvious. They were like, well, something's gonna happen that's insane. And it's like, no, if you watch, especially the Chinese seasons of the show, and in the Chinese seasons, and somewhat in the Japanese seasons, you really see how rigged the Korean seasons were.
Yeah.
Because if you watch them, people's ranks change. They do, over time. It's like 1, 2, but like, there's a core group of people that you're expecting to be in the top 10.
Yep.
And there's really not that often a last minute, like, punch for somebody. And the Korean seasons did that all the time. You're seeing people go up like 7 spots in the finale, and you're like,
and we're like, huh, what's going on there?
Interesting decision. And that's really what and you don't see that anywhere else. And you didn't see that this season either.
Yes, and that's how you know, because you did not see that at all this season in the finale. It's like, Ricky was a surprise to us only because we thought Ricky was gonna go down. Ricky was in the top 9 and then was still in the top 9. So in theory, it seems like he should have been there.
And if you look at the graph, Ricky consistently went up in rankings.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he would go down, like, slightly.
We had mostly discounted Ricky because there were already 3 confirmed, essentially, Yehua kids in this group.
Yes.
And we were like, they can't make a 4 out of 9 Yehua group, and then they did. So.
Yeah. We didn't think that was an option.
Yep.
But that's also because we were working with the rules of other produces.
And the rules of other produce involved rigging.
And the rules of other produces are rigged.
Yeah, so we never actually knew what non-rigged produce could give us.
And here we are. It's now a no-rules game.
And it's honestly pretty great. This final group is great.
I love it. So, we mentioned him. Kim Jae-hwan is the Star Master for nothing. For absolutely nothing.
For no
he comes
reason.
in, sings the Pick Me in a guitar, wakes everybody up. They look pissed.
Also,
because they're like, what the
half
fuck?
these kids don't know who he is. Like, I am convinced most of these kids do not know who he is and why he's here singing guitar in their dorms in the morning. To be honest,
I knew he was here because I'd read it.
Yeah, I read a Suki article telling me he was going to be here.
Who? And then I had to remind myself that's who that is. Because I'm sorry, you got the least consequential member of 101.
Yep.
You couldn't have gotten anybody else? Mnet, you have a contract with King Daniel.
Right? We got...
Park Ji-hoon's about to have a comeback. Grab him.
We got the kid most people forget about in 101.
I completely forgot about him. And the kid that was definitely rigged into that group because he went up 9 spots at the finale. Yep. That's another one where I'm like, come on.
We get the really good moment, though, of him going into Hui's room, calling him Sunbae, and then singing Energetic right in front of him.
Energetic
and then making Hui also sing Energetic with him.
It's amazing. I love when Hui has to get humble.
His reason for being here, Kim Jae-hwan, is he's doing this really useless thing of introducing the finale songs.
Yes.
And the first time we heard these finale songs, they sound bad. Because we thought they sounded terrible.
They did sound terrible, but I don't think the demo vocals sounded really bad.
Yeah. But then we get them at the finale, and they're very good.
I like them a lot. So, here's the thing. So, we're getting... so the way they do it, it's very similar to how they did the dual position battle. So, we start lowest ranked to highest ranked. There's like a 9
grid on the floor,
like a 9 grid, on the floor, and each thing has a position: main vocal, rapper, sub vocal like 1 to 6. It's fine. And then you just go through. Everyone's picking things on the board. I want to point something out. Jay kicks someone out for main vocal of Hot Summer. So the 2 songs are Hot Summer and Jelly Pop. Okay? He kicked someone out for the main vocal of Hot Summer. He did that. And then the last person to pick is always Hanbin because he's always first.
Yep.
Because of course he is. And then he kicks Jay out, and then Jay gets bumped to like sub vocal 6 of Jelly Pop. The only reason I know all of these positions is because it was the drama of TikTok for
the drama
like a week. It was the drama. It was too much. I was like, I'm done. I can't
deal with this right now.
This fandom's already gonna kill me.
I know. I hate it.
And then the fans turned on Hanbin.
Yeah.
Well, specifically the Jay fans were like, how dare he, that piece of shit. I'm like
okay,
relax. Relax.
These parts in the finale songs are also the most inconsequential part of the show because these air, like, the last song airs probably 10 minutes before they close voting, if not, like, closer to the elimination edge of that. Not a single person is going into this live finale not knowing who they're voting for already.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, whoever is singing main vocal or doing the signal center, like, does not matter even a little bit.
Everybody's in there, like, everyone's here, because on that main vote, like, the day of recording, your vote counts double. Okay, fine. I voted before either song aired.
I voted immediately because I already knew who I was voting for.
Immediately, because I already knew who I was voting for. Immediately. No one is sitting here waiting for that. And also everyone's like, well, in the room. And I'm like, in the room are also people, like, no one's going to this finale that doesn't already either have a friend, family member, or, like, you're not just gonna go to the finale of Boys Planet and not know anything about these kids and be like, so I'm just gonna watch these 2 songs and I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna, like, wait it out. Like, no.
That's not how it works. I can get wanting your favorite person to perform a certain part of the song because that's fun, but the argument is always you're ruining his, like, last chance of showing his talents, and I'm just like, by the time this, like, airs, it's not gonna matter. Like, it does not matter.
And also, here's the other thing. By the time this all airs, by the time you get all of this out there, 1, it doesn't matter, and 2, there's no extras. There's no, like, you don't win anything. They don't even announce which one won. These are just fun performances out here to fucking buy
like,
time in this 4-hour finale.
To have some filler in this finale, yeah.
Because it's 4 hours long. And they have to fill time. I don't even remember how we filled the time post the voting. Because, like, okay, so the finale happens. We get, like, last words, we get thank yous, we get an introduction to each boy, they do the songs. At some point we get, like, another sports day.
We get
the weird, like,
we get the edited pajama party. And then we get an additional, like, sleepover pajama party.
Yes. Where we learn many things, but I want to, before we do that, before each of them perform, both Jelly Pop and Hot Summer, they do, like, here's like a little
montage of every boy.
And also, here is randomly one boy dressed like a girl, and we're just gonna do this weird little, like, semi-music video?
Yeah, they have to each film, like, a weird teaser video, but it's, like, both of them are very weird, and I don't know what the point is to doing that.
I don't know. In my opinion, that Hot Summer one is about just a demon woman.
That is. It's a demon woman.
Like, it's a demon woman. Like, she wants to kill him, and honestly, I approve.
Yes.
If you watch it through that lens,
that's what's happening.
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost demon woman.
It's a ghost woman. And if you watch it in that lens, it becomes very good. She's like it's like a ghost demon, like, siren woman, if you will.
And then the production had to put, like, a little note on both of them that was like, we had nothing to do with what you're about to see.
No person on they're like, they filmed it, they did everything. Like, this was entirely
is not
them.
Nothing of the production takes no responsibility for this.
Which I love, because, I mean, it means that none of these people want their work to be linked to any of it, which I think is hilarious.
Yes.
They do want their work to be linked to all of the gay shit that happened, but no, not this bit.
That's too far.
That's too far. So then they perform Hot Summer and Jelly Pop. I think Jelly Pop has bit worse people because it has Hui in it.
That's really all it is. It's whoever song has Hui is automatically worse.
A little bit worse. But it's a better song. Yeah. And though Hot Summer has better people in it, because Hot Summer also has some of our favorites. Like that's the one with like Jiwoong and Matthew and Hanbin and Kaita and all of these, and Ricky. All of them are there. For some reason, Yoojin is also there.
I've read the lyrics to both of these songs. Yes. They're both very much about sex. And Jelly Pop especially is like surprisingly about sex, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe Yoojin's better off in Hot Summer.
Maybe Yoojin might be better in Hot Summer. The vibes of Hot Summer
aren't sexy, but it's just like the lyrics of Jelly Pop are actually wild. Like they are
interesting,
insane. The lyrics.
I will say, I do really want if we're gonna enter 5th gen, which we haven't mentioned that's what Mnet wants.
Mnet has announced that this is going to be the 5th gen boy group.
If we are entering 5th gen, can 5th gen just be Jelly Pop vibed? Maybe not the lyrics. Jelly Pop vibed.
That would be great.
Please. I want this. Bring this back. I want them Jelly Pop vibed.
Yes.
So we're at the finale. Oh, let's talk about the slumber party before we finish.
Slumber party time.
Before we get to each of the people.
Yes.
The one slumber party's fine. You mainly just get everything for them also crying to reactions of videos people sent in.
We get a lot of Camden at the slumber party for some reason.
A lot of Camden. Will say, someone being very inspired by Hui's story worries me.
Yes.
Don't go down that path, kids.
No.
Don't do it.
No.
Also, we find out the second slumber party is more fun.
It is.
The second slumber party is where we find out, one, Matthew does not know how to say Jiwoong's name.
No, he has been calling him the wrong name the entirety of this show.
Like, I understand it because I don't know how long Matthew has been, because we learned that his sister and his mom are in Canada. Yeah. So he, at the very least, is not
he's not that fluent in Korean.
No. So he's been calling him Jiwoong.
Yes.
Which just, there's no G.
Uh-huh. And he doesn't not realize because no one has told him he's been doing it wrong.
Including Jiwoong. Yeah. Jiwoong's just accepted, just like, yeah, no, I got it.
Jiwoong and Matthew, who have since been like a couple on the show since the Hanbin Jang Hao happened, and then Hanbin had deserted Matthew for Jang Hao.
Yeah. And so they've been in like multiple performances together. Yes. They've been in like every performance together since Love Killa.
Yes.
It's just been, they just kept going on, and like, he's never corrected him.
Now at the slumber party, we're gonna air our grievances. Matthew has never called him the correct name. And
like, it's not even Jiwoong that points it out. I think it's Camden.
Yeah, it is.
Camden's like, you call him the wrong names. Like,
and Matthew's like, what?
What have I been doing? I think it's adorable.
Very cute.
But also, I can't hear a difference, but I'm also not Korean.
Yes.
Which also makes me think that, like, Matthew also is not, like, just
Matthew
very
also
doing this.
Does not do it on purpose, for sure.
Absolutely not. It's adorable. Also, we find out that Zhang Hao and Jiwoong had never spoken until they did Say My Name together.
Not even Say My Name, because Zhang Hao was in Over Me.
Oh, right, he was in Over Me. No, they did, what did they do?
They didn't do anything together.
No, when did they speak? They're like, this is our second conversation, and I'm like, when was your first conversation?
I was like, they did the finale song. I was like, no, they don't do the finale song together. I'm like,
they don't do. When the hell were they? They speak at what they say. We spoke at one point.
Yes,
and then this slumber party is their second conversation.
Yes,
and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. They've never met.
These two people have never met each other.
Why would they be talking? There's like 90 boys here.
I know.
They mentioned when they spoke. I'm like, when the fuck did you two speak?
No, because they were in the same category. Because I'm like, did they both win that second round and go to M Countdown together? But I don't think they did.
No, because Jiwoong was in Love Killa.
No, because Love Killa won, and so did Tomboy. So maybe when they went to M Countdown together,
maybe it was that.
Sometime then.
But like, they've never spoken.
Right. Oh, then we get the finale ballad as well.
We do. The finale ballad's
It's actually
fine.
pretty good for a finale ballad.
Also, none of the finale songs are written by. It's not even like we got like a Daewee in the finale ballad.
Yeah, produced Japan
no, we
too.
got no one's surprised. No one's surprised with whoever wrote the finale ballad or any of finale songs.
Yes.
All right, so now I guess we're gonna go 8 through 1, then 9, then 10 through 13.
Yeah.
So, mind you, can we set the stage as to where we are?
We have to set the stage.
So, Kayla, where are you at this time? Because we watched it live.
Yes.
Also, mind you, every single episode of this show we have watched live in the morning, half paying attention, getting ready about our days, and then we will watch it again fully subbed.
Yes.
So we've watched every episode of this show twice.
Yes.
So, Kayla, where are you with this finale?
I was just at work,
situation?
just doing, like, very important chemistry the entire finale. I just was continuing to do my job, but also watching the finale.
I was in a hospital. My grandma was having surgery, and I'm in the waiting room, just waiting for any news. Well, mind you, thank God, the Boys Planet finale started and ended before I got any news about my grandma, and I'm like, and then 10 minutes later, the doctor walks out, like, she I'm like, oh God. So many emotions very quickly, but
much.
that was my
day. That's where we're
at,
watching this finale.
That's where we were physically, so we were, like, not allowed to scream.
No.
Not that we would have anyway, but just still, like, the emotions were being kept in the whole time.
Yes.
So, 8th place was Jiwoon.
And that was shocking just because he did drop a significant amount.
Yeah.
But he was
expected
not
for
this
too
group.
Out of the box. Yeah. 7th place, we get Tae-rae. I was very happy for him. I'm like,
that's expected placing, and
that's expected for. It's also expected placing for the main vocal of these groups. The main vocal of these groups never does exceptionally well. I was like, at least it's not one of those where it just happened multiple times where the main vocal comes in last place.
Yeah, that's so rough.
And you're like, is there gonna be a vocal in this group or not? Who's to say? 6th was Gyuvin.
Yeah.
And that is when I was a little surprised.
And it's like, we start going downhill a little bit when we get the Gyuvin in 6th.
We go downhill a little bit here. We're like, okay, Gyuvin also has a 5-minute speech. We counted it.
Gyuvin also not prepared to give a speech.
No, at all.
I was pretty much expecting Gyuvin to be in this group. But he takes, I think, a full solid minute before he starts his speech.
Even speaking.
Takes another full minute before he is, like, seated in a chair.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The man... And also, so, Jiwoon goes up, seems to have a speech prepared.
Seems to.
Tae-rae seems to have a speech prepared. From this point on, everybody that is announced does not have a
speech
prepared. Does not
have a speech. No one's ready.
Or at least does not have the correct speech prepared. So, Gyuvin apparently didn't think he was going to be in this group, so didn't prepare, or was so overwhelmed with emotion he just was
Gyuvin was like not able to speak. Like, he was not in the mental state where he could give a speech.
But he said so much. He said so many words.
He was rambling.
He rambled for a while. I also want to point out that from this point on, Gyuvin will not correctly sit. Gyuvin is sitting on the floor. Gyuvin is like kneeling on his chair.
In the chair.
Gyuvin has honestly, it is one of the things about Gyuvin that actually kind of made me a little endeared to him, is that Gyuvin has the reaction like he is shocked these people were on this show every time someone else is announced. There are fan cams of him, specifically when Ricky's announced, that look like he is having like an outer body experience. Like, what? Like, everything is like he's having a full body reaction to every single thing
happening in this finale.
And honestly, it's kind of fun to watch.
Also,
it's very fun.
When Jiwoon was giving a speech, since he's the first one who has to give a speech, forgets the name of the group.
He has to ask Minhyun what is the name of this
group. And then he has to have Minhyun repeat it like twice, because he fully doesn't. I don't think he believes that the name of the group is that dumb. He's like, huh?
Yeah, because he's like, 0 base 1. He's like, pardon? What? Huh? 0 base 1. Oh, okay. Okay, I gotta accept that, apparently. So then 5th place, we get Gunwook. Gunwook is really when we're entering the era
really not prepared to give a speech. Gunwook in shock.
I think Gunwook forgot he was on this show. He's like, me?
Huh?
I'm still, like, I was an option.
And also, I think we're in 5th place now, and I think Gunwook was in the mindset that, like, I'm not gonna rank 5th or above. Yeah.
No. He's like, we're entering 5th place. We're entering like the top stretch. Everyone thought we had 5 through 1 locked.
Yeah,
and then
we didn't have 5 through 1 locked at all.
Not at all. Not at all. So that happened. Very happy for Gunwook.
Yes.
Gunwook kind of doesn't ramble as much as Yuvin.
Because he's like, Gunwook is not crying. He's just like laughing in shock in his entire speech. Like, he can't believe he's
trying to process what's going on.
8th through 5th was really like a rough stretch of people to watch. We're like, this group is entirely Korean, and the top 4 is probably Hanbin, Janghao, and Yoojin, and it's like, we're not in a great spot right now.
Yeah. So then we get 4th place. And then the word Ricky comes out of Minhyun's mouth. 4th place. Ricky looks like he's like, I was an option?
He's like, I didn't...
The Yehua boys that are there, because we've obviously talked to, Wooty is the first person we talked to in this finale. Before we talk to anybody, we have to talk to Wooty first. Wooty. Immediately. And then we also talked to Woongi at some point, and everyone's having a good time.
Those are the 2 fan favorites of the show, Woongi and Wooty.
The other thing is that the Yehua boys are there and they're holding banners.
Yes.
They have to, I thank God they brought one,
yes.
But like they have to like go through and find their like little Ricky banner.
Like when Ricky gets announced, Ollie has to like look for the Ricky banner. He's like, oh, I gotta bring the Ricky banner.
He's like, the Ricky banner! It's a very cute banner. Yes. All the banners on that show were very adorable. Yes. It's like hot pink. It's adorable for Ricky. Ricky did not prepare a
Ricky
speech,
was not in any capacity ready to be in this group.
Because I feel like Ricky has the same mindset we did, which is that there's not going to be 4 Yehua kids in this group, so I don't have to matter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to think
and it's not
going to
be me, because those other 3 are, like, locked in this group. Like, so it's not going to be me.
And then he walks up there.
He gets
it
4th
takes a second of recognition. Yeah, he needs, like, a second of recognition of, like, oh, shit, it's, like,
and I gotta
everyone
make a
else
speech.
is hugging him before he has to get up there.
Yes.
Also, this is where we see his mother. His mother is a blonde as well.
Yes.
Natural blonde Ricky. It's gonna be so upsetting when Ricky dyes his hair.
I know.
I'm gonna be so sad.
The second Ricky's hair is no longer blonde, it's gonna be really sad.
I'm gonna be really sad. But
Ricky also gives a shout out to his neck tattoo in his speech, and that's really funny.
His own neck tattoo, which just says role model, which he will have to keep covered for the next 2 years, as he's had to keep covered for this entire show. Maybe they'll cover it better, because this time it is a slightly off color.
Right.
Just like strip of, what appears to be tape. Flesh-colored tape. It's questionable. I don't like it.
Yep.
But yes, so we get Ricky. Ricky's there. Ricky's in shock. Then 3rd place happens.
Yes.
And it's Matthew. Matthew also in shock. Matthew does have a speech prepared, but I think Matthew was
prepared for 9th
place.
I think Matthew wasn't prepared for 3rd place.
No, absolutely not. Because Matthew had dropped rank to 9th place in the previous elimination.
Because he was at 2nd in that first elimination, and then had continually dropped since then. So I think he was like, I am like teetering on the edge of being in this group.
I know. It's
and then
insane.
He got 3rd, and I'm so happy for him.
And he got 3rd, and I'm like, what?
It's adorable.
Everybody was shocked at that point. And then we go to the most shocking thing. We
get more and more shocking the farther we go.
We get more and more shocking as it goes. Somehow, like, 4 to 1 is just shock after shock after shock.
Like, no one's prepared for what's happening.
I'm shocked I didn't have a heart attack.
Oh, man.
Minhyun is talking as slowly as ever.
He's repeating every sentence 3 times and, like, pausing for a full minute in between sentences at this point.
The man said that there's gonna be 9 people in this group, I think 13,000 times. And I'm like, I can't. I hate this.
So we get 1 and 2.
We get 1 and 2.
Clearly it's Halbin. Like, that's not the surprising part.
Weird Mnet editing where it appears that they are looking, because they put them on the wrong side of the screen. Yeah. So if, let's say, Hanbin and Zhang are both, like, left and right in real life.
They swapped it for some reason.
Swapped, which then makes it look like they're looking at different people.
But they're just looking at each other.
Realize that they're hugging each other. Yeah. And also, Zhang definitely kisses him on the neck, right?
Hanbin on the neck. Like, that's what's happening.
Because they, like, have this hug, and he definitely kissed him on the neck, and it was a lot.
It's a lot.
So...
Okay, a lot of people like to call this finale the marriage of Hanbin.
It is their wedding. Unfortunately, Minhyun had to officiate, but it's their wedding.
I'm sorry.
they start the entire program off with just a performance of the Pick Me, which essentially then has all of the other 16 people like essentially walk off stage while they're doing their little dance in a circle moment.
Like
it's their wedding.
They're getting married today.
They're getting married. So they go up there holding hands, right? Everything's great.
Yes.
And then Minhyun is like, and in first place, Zhang Hao. In Zhang Hao's mind, he's definitely processing, and in second,
yeah, he's definitely processed second place is Zhang Hao.
And then he literally looks at Hanbin like, oh, congratulations.
And then Hanbin is like, no, it's you, buddy.
And the people erupt. Everyone looks shocked.
It's shocking.
People are crying. His mom and his brother.
I don't think it's his dad,
It's not his dad. It's a very young dad if it's his dad, but are just like, what the fuck? Everyone was like, the Yeihua kids are like screaming, and they're like, this was an option? Fucking, what is his name? Kwang.
Kwanji's having like a breakdown on the floor. Like,
Kwanji fell to the floor.
The emotions that Kwanji is going through in this finale are a lot.
It's a lot. Wait, when Ricky's announced, he jumps on top of a chair. Yes. It takes Zihao to bring him back down off of the chair. And then he just falls to the ground and just starts sobbing because it's fucking Zhang Hao. Also, it's at one point Haruto has migrated down to the
Haruto has decided to place himself next to the Yeihua kids because he knows that's where he's gonna get the screen time.
Which, good for him. But also, Ollie looks like he's Ollie and Brian and the other Yeihua kid just have a group hug. They did it. It felt very much. We did it, Joe. It felt very much like that. Yes. We're just we did it. Yuvin looks like he's having a seizure up there. He's like, what the fuck? Everyone's having a great time.
And this is how this show has beat racism and homophobia.
Everyone's in love. Because he's the first ever foreign
non-Korean center,
but also first foreign center of any produce group. Because all the Chinese seasons have Chinese centers. All the Japanese seasons have well, there's no foreigner. There's one in I&I. But there's only country specific centers.
Yes. The first ever.
He won. He beat
racism.
We won. Somehow. It felt like everybody was like, this was an option.
No one knew this was an option.
No one realized this was an option.
No one was prepared for this to happen.
I didn't realize that was an option. But that's because we're living with rigged seasons.
And I feel like what is so great about this season and what has been set up specifically is that because Hanbin and Zhang Hao have been so attached at the hip since the beginning of this show, that had this happen to literally any other person, there would have been an uproar of some kind. But every person who was supporting Hanbin was a fan of Zhang Hao, and vice versa. Because those are two so attached people this entire time that the fans can't even get mad because you love both of them. No.
I even think that if, for example, it had been the upset of a repeat of a Hanbin Matthew 1-2, people would have been like, is it fair? Is it right? Da-da-da-da-da. It's panic voting, whatever. You can't say anything about this.
No.
This is just this is also why it feels fictional.
Right.
Because
no one can believe it actually happened. That we got number one, the 4/9 Yeihua, and also the first foreign center of a group.
Foreign center.
It's amazing.
The storyline, just how perfectly it lined up with 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Right, it feels like that should be rigged, but it feels like if you were gonna rig, that would be it, but it's not, because it's there's no way this is the ending they would rig out of it.
Because Mnet would never rig this. Mnet would have wanted, well, it's his birthright at this point.
Yeah.
Number one. The only one that's ever done it is that one kid from, 2019.
Yeah.
It's the only kid that's ever done it. I forget his name, but you can look it up. That's the only kid that's so far ever done it. Which is fine.
And it's so great that the 1 and 2 have they've never had clashing fandoms. It's one big, large, happy fandom for the two of them.
Because it's just, it's parents.
Yes.
They're mothers.
Mm-hmm. They're mothers.
It's insane. It's such a... The thing with this season, and I mean, we're at the end here, let's just go through thing and we'll go back to why I think the season's overall so good. So in 9th place, really quick... Oh, so here's the other funny thing, because I did see a TikTok of this from the other perspective. At the end, they give their speeches. They're still holding hands because they haven't let go of each other in 3 months anyway. And there's a TikTok of a production assistant doing some sort of movement with his hands, but in my mind it looks like, okay, separate and go up one at a time the way you should do it, right? No, they turn around and walk up hand in hand on stairs that are definitely suited more for one person to walk up.
They are inseparable.
No, they will not separate, and it's amazing. I love it. So 9th place, very quickly does Minhyun announce 9th place, because at first I'm thinking he's gonna announce candidates. No, he's just like, and Yujin. Go.
Apparently they had to get that out real fast because Yujin was not allowed to work past 11 p.m. because he's a child.
It was just like, okay, get him out, and then he also can't go to the after party.
Yeah, it's like, we gotta get him in the group and his speech, and we gotta wrap it up before it's illegal. Like, we gotta get it
And also, I think that by the end of that, between them letting everybody have 10-minute long speeches, they were also probably running out of time.
Yes.
Because that had to finish airing
took
before
so
midnight.
Goddamn long.
And then I think by that logic, they had to sort of let everybody ramble on as long as they wanted.
Yes.
Even though Ricky almost seemed like he wanted to cut his speech shorter.
Yes.
And then they were like expecting him to extend.
Right.
And I'm like, no, just accept the short speech we got. Accept it.
I honestly prefer that we got the Yujin really fast, because can you imagine if we got the Yujin J battle and then how more awful that would have made things?
That would have been terrible. But yay for Yujin. We needed a child. Lip J would have had a riot if he wasn't in the group.
Yes.
But
that's our group.
Place, yes. So 10th place was J. 11th was Park Han-bin. 12th was Kaita. And 13th was Hui.
Yep.
If this was a 12-member group, I would be
so
excited.
Fantastic 12-member group this would be.
But so because it's not produce, it can't be a 12-member group.
It's unfortunate.
Fuck off. Hui 13th. Thank God he wasn't close. Yeah,
honestly.
Jay, I'm sad for. Park Han-bin, I'm sad for. Kaita, I'm really sad for.
Kaita.
I'm really sad for Kaita.
That's the big one. I think it's Kaita.
Kaita enters the JR.
Yeah.
Kaita because there's always two groups of people that don't make it. It's all because it's the most influential season of this fucking show. It's the produce season 2 names of someone either got Samueled, which means that they weren't in the group for like reasons outside of their control, for example, their race.
Yeah, that's the
or
J
they got
situation.
JR'd. Or they got JR'd,
yeah.
Which is people that are like way too talented, and people were just like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah.
Like you were so consistently
this
good.
last
And that's
round
the
of voting, I think for Kaita was really bad because he truly did not have enough of a Korean fan. Any Korean.
He didn't have any.
His Korean fan base was like not large enough.
The Cypher fans.
Yeah, it's like.
That's it.
His massive global fan base at this point was not enough to make up for his lack of Korean fan base, and that's really what
because you're dealing with the number 1 foreign kid,
yeah,
to the number 19th, and there's only 18 spots Korean voting.
Yeah.
Tally, like it's insane.
It's like, and I think that hurts Kaita more than it does Jay too, because Jay also has a massively larger global fan base, but Kaita, it was like the difference was even more apparent. Like,
was so stark.
Yeah.
And also, Jay got that whole push because of his drama.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm happy for everybody that made the finale except Hui.
Yes.
I'm happy for Camden. I think Camden did great. To talk about the kids that didn't make the group.
Yeah.
Camden, I hope he does great. I think all of these kids are going to do great things. Mm-hmm. I truly feel like this might be the closest we ever get to season 2, which is because the problem with Produce X had so much scarring on it from the voting manipulation that even if you get, like, being a kid off of Produce X isn't something exciting.
Not really.
Being a kid off of Boys Planet might be. Yeah. Especially this season, I think it was really good.
This definitely invigorated the, like, survival show fandoms for sure.
Absolutely. I think everybody was very happy for him. I think that, like, I would love to see Camden. I think
Camden.
Jay's gonna be great. I think Park Han-bin's gonna debut within the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Kaita's
gonna go back to Cypher, but who knows what's happening?
What's
going on with Cypher? Like, who's to say?
Everybody is already talking about who's gonna get hyped.
Yeah.
I want Hybe. I think Hybe should make it a tradition now.
Please.
Because I think that would be funny. Can they also hybe kids, like, can they do a double hybing, which is, like, hybe kids now that didn't win.
Right.
And then in 2.5 years, hybe
Hype
the kids that did win.
yeah.
Like, do that.
Do
like,
both.
that'd be funny. I think hybe should do both.
Yes.
I think that Wake One, I think the biggest winner was Yehua.
Yeah, absolutely.
With 4 out of 8.
4 out of 8 chances?
Great
That's
for
incredible
amazing.
odds. Like,
that's an incredible
turnout. To send 8 people and have 4 of them in this group.
It's insane to me. I mean, that's just been Yehua's. I mean, if you look it up, Yehua has had kids make these groups
left and right.
Like, since Idol Producer,
Yeah.
they've made, like, almost every single season
every
they've
show
been
they
doing.
send kids to has made the group, I think.
I think except Youth With You 2.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think they made any. I think they did send girls to Youth With You 2 and they didn't make it, but for the most part, they've been getting kids, and it's multiple kids.
Yeah.
Like, they had 3 kids on Idol Producer. They had 2 girls on Produce China, sorry. They did 48 and X and Youth With You 3. They didn't send anyone
Youth
to
With You
2021,
1 has
but they also
one.
had Youth With You 1 has
There's
one.
another non-produced show that they got like 4
Yeah.
kids on or something like that.
It's wild. They've just been doing, and then they got 4 kids on Boys
Yep.
Planet. It's insane. Good for
Wake
them.
One sent 10
Wake
kids on the
One
show, and only one
and
of
got
them
one.
made it in this
And
group.
that's because Korea thinks Taeri looks like a nerd.
Yep.
Which, you know, good for Taeri. That's a great. I like that. Also, I always don't like it when they make Taeri take off his glasses.
I feel
'Cause
like
he looks cute
it's
in
like a
them.
part of
and
him.
they feel like
it feels
that's
like a part of him. Yeah.
As someone who wears glasses constantly, I want an idol that wears
Yes.
glasses. So,
Boys Planet.
honestly, I don't feel like we need to go through our shit list and everything.
No,
I think
because we've gone
them.
through the shit list already.
So we've decided we have a top 10.
We do.
Or do you want to talk about, like, the future of the season? Why it's an S tier season?
Oh yeah, we should.
Which
Let's
way
do
do you wanna
that
go
first.
All right, this is an S tier season of this show. We've put this up there with the Produce 101 Japan season 1
Yes.
and Idol Producer. This is now
This is
the
like if you're
third
gonna
S-tier
watch
season.
a Korean season, it's Boys
Yes.
Planet. Like it's a fantastic.
You should. Which again, for us to recommend the 5th season of a show.
Yes. It's really
Wild.
like a soft
I think-
reboot, if you will.
It is a soft reboot. Also, I think that this is almost the most perfect season of the show in that it feels fictional, but it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It is
It's
perfect reality television.
It is, and it has such a nice like through line story that pays off in the end. Like, and that's really like you can't get that in literally any other season.
And like this show could have been so ruined right at the end, but it stuck the landing, even without needing to be rigged.
Yes.
Somehow reality was better than anything Mnet has ever rigged.
Maybe this is a word
which
that they
is
don't need
insane.
to, that they really don't need to rig when
You
they had
don't.
such a fantastic season on the
And
one
also,
time they didn't
guess
rig
what
it.
you can, and also guess how you can rig it. You can rig it by editing.
Yeah.
The way they edited the show was just rigging.
So the
People
editing,
saw through
so
it.
the editing was incredibly aggressive. This show, it's like, but
Yes.
that's how they had to rig it because they couldn't rig it behind the
And it's
scenes. That they had to
fine.
rig it in front of everybody.
And guess what? I feel like by this point, season 5 in, people are so used to how aggressively edited everything is that like what you can see through some of it, and the some of it that's true, you won't see through. You know what I mean? Like the villains that were terrible people got kicked out, and they tried to evil edit Matthew and Ricky.
Yep.
And people saw right through that as
and Ricky
no,
was
they're
literally
just sweet
not
people.
giving them anything to work with.
Oh, Ricky gave them nothing. I think this is just maybe one of the most perfect. I mean, as someone who watches a bunch of reality television in many different genres, like not just competition based, but like dating show, all of that other stuff.
Nonsense.
This might be one of the most
It's so good.
honestly perfect in terms of just like storyline. Everything. This is one of the most perfect seasons of reality television I've ever seen. It's so good.
So good. Everything about it is so
All right.
good.
So now we have our top 15.
Top 15
Boys
moments
Planet
of
moments.
the show.
We've talked about some of them. Oh, these are specifically moments that happened outside of performances.
Yes, nothing in a performance counted
Nothing
here.
in a performance.
Yes.
So at 15, we have Kui crying during the Shine audition. I
Pure
love
comedy.
that moment. Pure comedy.
Yes.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely set the tone for... Also, looking back on it, sets the tone for Hui's run so well. Because now that he's not in the group, I can breathe a sigh of relief and watch his moments
Yes.
as the pure comedy that they
Yes,
are.
yes. At 14, we have on Kim Jae-hwan comes and sings Energetic at We. Also,
another
comedy.
very similar moment, but love it. Comedy
gold.
Because it like continues to set the tone. Keep bringing up his failures. At 13, we have the Yehua Ali birthday party. This happened outside of the show.
Yes.
They do not mention this on the show.
No, but it's very fun. Very fun, very cute. Also, Yehua, the star of the season, so.
Absolutely. Also, Yehua does have the cutest little thing where Ollie is it's my favorite moment. Ollie's just like, he's like, I'm scared. He's scared to like blow out his candle that it's going to fall off. And I'm like, yeah, there's like 50 cameras in front of you.
Yep.
Fair enough, Ollie.
At 12th, we have Woongi dancing in My Bag in the middle of the night, because that's also fantastic for him. Love that.
Because also, again, great person, terrible roommate. So at 11, we have one on here that, like, I don't know, it's here for reasons. We have the Halbin massage, which is, like,
it's a weird moment.
It's a weird moment. It's a moment I don't think we should have seen.
Yes.
But it's a great representation of how close they are as friends.
That's really, just, it's a part of the Halbin
vulnerability.
Storyline.
Yeah, the vulnerability was good.
At 10th, we have Wumuti coming back multiple times after being eliminated from the show.
Wumuti got more screen time on this show
after he was eliminated.
After he was eliminated than they could ever imagine.
He is all over that episode right after he gets eliminated. Like, it's insane.
Absolutely. Wumuti is going to debut in Korea. I want it so bad.
I know.
Also, so many of these foreign kids, and this is a thing with the show, I forget are foreign because they're Korean.
Because they've been in Korea so long. Yeah.
They've been in Korea so long and they're just so good at it.
Wumuti's been here since he did under 19, and that was I don't even know how many years ago at this point.
Yeah. So number 9 is the sports day throwing. It didn't air, but the clips we have of it is my favorite thing ever.
It's fantastic. It's so good. Everything about that game.
just lifting children and also dragging
Hui by an ankle. Like, it's amazing. Fantastic.
That was appropriate.
At 8, we just have the term of Ollie Wonka, because Ollie, an icon.
Ollie's little Dr. Seuss
rapping and also being Willy Wonka is, like, incredible.
And also Ollie Wonka, the actual intro.
Incredible.
At number 7, we have a play. I think we can count both of them.
Yes.
So we have Tall and Rich,
Young and Rich, Tall and Handsome, Charisma Boss, Baby Ricky.
Boss, Baby Ricky. And also Jay's take on it, Tall and Poor and Somewhat Handsome Jay. And I'm like, thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you for that, truly.
Young and Rich, Tall and Handsome, Charisma Boss, Baby Ricky.
An icon.
An icon. Absolutely love it.
Love him. At number 6, we have Jiwoong for getting the group name at the finale immediately.
Absolutely incredible. Loved every second of that. At number 5, we have Camden only thanking his mom, and also that adding to all of his family drama, because that family drama is one of the best subplots.
It's such a wild subplot to have. And it's like, it's not a subplot you're gonna see if you're not, like, on social media constantly like the two of us are.
It's a surprise subplot.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's a surprise subplot, and I love it. Because just his interactions with Mom and Kate are great. Yes. And then you add Dad, and it just becomes such an intricate subplot. Yep.
At number 4, we have Halbin picking each other for the musical, because that's always very cute.
I mean, I think that's another sweet moment in
evolution of the Halbin relationship.
Yes. At number 3, we have Planet Camp Tour with Woongi and so on, who I think should just host a show together.
An iconic duo. What an absolutely iconic duo, the two of them.
They need to host an actual show.
I also want Woongi. I just need Nine Eye to adopt Woongi into Nine Eye. Like, they cannot be separated. I love them.
No.
At number 2, we have the most iconic line of the show of "I love you, I want you, suck Matthew."
Just him having to do it all the time.
That's his
variation
life.
Of it.
That's his life now.
I mean, it's the new chat. Like, it's very season 2, which is like it's just an evolution of the Park Ji-hoon little
box thing that he does.
Yeah, which he hasn't done it. Like, he'll grow out of it.
Right.
Also, we have to mention the variation that is "I love you, I want you, love Killa Match you."
Yes.
Love that
Love that as well for him.
And then at number 1, we have the Woongi and Kaita dance battle.
Because truly, what an iconic moment that is.
Truly iconic. Like, I will never stop thinking about that moment.
It's so fun. I love it.
And for some reason, Hurricane is the
Here comes
song
the
that plays
hurricane.
over it every time, even though that is not the song that was playing.
No, but it fits.
They
it
don't
fits
have
better.
the rights to
it's
that.
a great song
It fits
for that
better.
dance battle.
It's amazing. But that was Boys Planet, one of the
Boys Planet.
a thing that is taken. When I look back on this year, Boys Planet will be a very large
It's taken
part
up the
of it.
past entire 3 months of my life, and it's like every single time of that 3 weeks is like Boys Planet was taking up like 70% of my mental capacity. It's like
Yep.
always thinking about
Always.
Boys Planet.
And now we're gonna get Bepler.
Yes. Honestly, I have really good memories of this show considering how good of an ending we got
Always,
from it.
yeah.
It's like all of my memories of the
I
show are
think-
good now.
Yeah, I think that if this had ended poorly,
Yeah.
it would have been. I would have had different parts would have stuck in my
Right.
head. But with the ending we got, with the
It's
group
good.
that's come out of it, I think overall this was extremely positive
I
experience.
think part of it
and
has
that's
to do
also what happens.
I think part of it has to do with us knowing how to manage our expectations for reality shows too. Now
Yes.
having this spend the 15th season of the show we've watched,
Yeah,
it's like this
also
is a quote unquote a global boy group that has 2.5 foreigners in it. But like
Yeah.
I was not expecting to get more than 3 to
No.
begin with. Like
I
that
was
expected.
expecting maybe 3 if I was lucky.
4 if we're
maybe 3.5.
3.5
if,
if
like,
we're really lucky. Yeah.
and if we would have got Camden in there, we would have counted Matthew and Camden making a third foreigner. Like if the 2 halves would have counted.
But it's like I am not at all mad with the lineup we got in this
No.
group. Like
No.
it's mostly Korean, but I don't care. Like it's fine.
And
The
also,
people are great.
realistically looking at it, I think that like every other show, because we're looking at all of our favorite seasons, does very much dependent on the group that ends up coming from it.
Absolutely.
Because you get like 9% in JO1, and now with Bepler, who I personally am already really loving.
I
love
really
Bepler.
like them. I think they're going to be
Also,
great.
you can really. I mean, I think we have our expectation managed because we were at season 15.
Absolutely.
This is really Baby's first Bepler. If it's Baby's first produce,
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot online.
Yeah.
Because this is the soft reboot.
Right.
People being so disappointed, but I'm like, the things you were expecting were truly impossibilities.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, impossibilities. Because also there were people expecting like a flip of the like a 180 in the lineup, and I'm like, that's not how. Like, no, why would that happen? Like, logically, why would that? happen?
I'm really sad Kite is not in this group, but also I was expecting to be sad about someone not being in this group.
There's someone. Every year there's someone, like whether it have been like Kyan or
like JR,
Samuel
or any of things.
Samuel.
Yeah.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
And guess what? They end up doing something else, and people like take Soyeon. Soyeon didn't make IOI.
Soyeon is
She's doing
absolutely
great.
thriving now. Yeah.
Absolutely thriving. Not you look at the current industry. Pick an idol you really like. They've been on this show at some point.
This show
Dongmyeon of Wonwee was on this show.
This show truly is part of every aspect of the K-pop like culture now. It's all over the place.
And if you want to learn more about it, watch our full
Our
produce month
hours
episodes,
of extensive content on this series.
We've researched the shit out of this
so
show.
much.
And truly, you find patterns. This show broke a lot of them.
It did.
I think it's a great improvement.
It's a great improvement because we're not rigging, and so it's so much.
And somehow you end up with the best season when you don't rig
Who knew
it.
how much better this season could be if we didn't rig the shit out of it?
Can you imagine Wanna One if it wasn't rigged?
Oh, I can't even
That would have
imagine.
been a
Can't even
wild
imagine what that
time.
looks like.
I don't know, but I feel like it somehow becomes better.
Yeah.
Not that Wanna One's terrible, but just realistically looking at it with how oftentimes we say, oh, the people don't know what they're talking about when they're making a K-pop group. And again, I think for a permanent group, yeah, no, this group is not this group doesn't work as a permanent group for forever, probably. But for 2.5 years, I think it's gonna be amazing. 2.5 years. I'm very excited for the next 2 years, 2.5 years.
I'm so
with,
excited for them.
Bepler.
I'm also already dreading their disbandment, but I do know it.
I
But I
know.
do know it's happening, and I'm prepared for that already.
We're not one of those people that are gonna be like, but what if they don't disband? I'm like, yes,
they're
they
gonna
are.
disband, and it's
But
gonna
they
happen.
are.
We're already just do not even have any other expectation beyond that.
No, please do not. Also, I already have a feeling we already know who's winning our awards for this year. We already know who's winning Rookie Boy Group of the Year.
Yes.
We already know.
We know.
There's things that are already set in
Exactly.
stone in this world already. And I'm very happy.
Yes.
I'm very happy with
I'm really happy with this group and how this show went, so hooray.
Alrighty, well,
That's been
we didn't go that
we didn't go that
over.
Not that far over.
No.
So that's good. Will be
Thank
a
God.
long episode, but that's to be I will have to split it in half, so that's to be expected.
At least on the podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Platforms. But hey,
it will come in 2 parts on Spotify and everything else. But
hey,
you know,
it is what it needed.
It is
to
what
be.
it is.
Also, we could have. Thank God we put this on a time cruncher. We would still be on round.
we would
2.
be here for 7 hours if we didn't specifically schedule this under a time crunch. So
I think that was the best thing we could have done.
So yeah, we are available on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel where you can check out all of our episodes along with fun clip videos occasionally as well. And with that, we'll see you in the next episodes. Bye.
Bye.